I don't like skulls.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, March 5th, 2023. This is your award-winning Gimbo Nation Media Assassination episode 1535.
This is No Agenda.
Harboring you from Havana Syndrome and broadcasting live from the heart of the Texas Hill Country here in FEMA Region number 6 in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I've discovered that 1 teaspoon equals 5 milliliters. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Having grown up in Europe and being completely decimalized, is that a word?
Yeah.
Metricized.
Oh, it's decimated.
No, that's always after the show where I'm decimated. I have the biggest problem with ounces and teaspoons and tablespoons. I mean, I can follow a recipe, but I have no idea. I mean, the fact that you figured out a teaspoon is 5 milliliters, that must be a fluke.
I've decided to make these opening show things educational.
I like that. We used to do Confucius Says. I think the educational part is good. And these are handy tips you can use around the house and the kitchen. So I like it. That's a good idea.
Well, the way you get around, I know what you're talking about this, because I look at a lot of recipes, and there's European ones. They don't care about ounces or anything.
No, pretty much not.
And so you got to find one good program somewhere that's a converter, and you just keep looking it up over and over and over again until you kind of know how many ounces are in a quart and how many ounces are in a liter.
Yeah, or you can just use, not use liters at all. Just use your ounces. Use your measuring cups. The stuff that is tried and true.
Most measuring cups have it on both sides now.
Oh, really?
You get yes. The
Really
measuring cup usually has cups on one, and the other side is milliliters.
Get out of here! Where can I get such a fine instrument? Amazon? I need this in my life. Okay. Now,
try to get one of those cool measuring cups so when you put it in the dishwasher, it washes off all the ink or whatever the paint that's on there. And so you have to see what happened.
Whatever that stuff is, it's probably not good for you. Not good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a value for value program, and I'd like to start off by explaining why we are value for value, which means we do a show, it creates value. You receive that value if it's valuable to you. If not, why are you listening? Go away. If it is, then return that in time, talent, or treasure, because we don't want creepy corporations. We don't want ads. We want to be able to speak freely. This was not an ad for an Amazon measuring cup. But here is a perfect example of two things. One, why you do not want advertising in your programming, because it will take over the programming. And it also gives us a perfect example of why TikTok is very, very dangerous to the rest of advertising-based media, particularly Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc.
TikTok.
Now, you may have seen this article, but the genesis is right here on NBC's Today Show. This is the McDonald's native ad hoax.
Can we go from French fries to a fit guy? That's what we're finding out. 100 days of nothing but McDonald's. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go indeed. You heard that correctly. Kevin McGinnis from Nashville has quickly become a viral TikTok sensation for documenting his very unique diet journey. He's eating, as you heard, nothing but McDonald's for 100 straight days, Chanel.
And so far, he says he's loving it.
Oh!
You get it?
Oh, nice.
We're going to talk to Kevin in just a moment, but first, here is how it all started.
I woke up this morning and I weighed in at 238 pounds, and I decided that is absolutely unacceptable. So I drove down to McDonald's. I'm going to eat nothing but McDonald's for the next 100 days. But instead of eating everything they give me, I'm going to go ahead and cut the meals in half.
And he's here with us now. Kevin, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, Carson, you found him on TikTok?
Yeah, I was watching TikTok, and Kevin said he woke up 238 pounds. He was disgusted with himself. He wanted to finally put his foot down on his weight, so he put it on the gas pedal and drove to McDonald's. And I thought, well, this is interesting. And I've been following your 10-day journey so far, and I think what really hooked me was that it's working.
Absolutely working.
Where did you come up with this idea?
All right, let's just break this down for a moment. In no morning show world does Carson Daly get to determine a segment about McDonald's. Ever. That is a plant from McDonald's. The guy's TikTok videos have McDonald's logos on it, superimposed. And then to add insult to injury, we throw in the slogan. Oh, I'm loving it. What a hoax. Now, I will say, if I eat McDonald's just one time, I lose weight too, because I'm just the pass-through guy in that case. So, I mean, that's very possible. But wow, what a scam this is. And it's so blatant. Have you seen this?
I saw one version of it. I didn't turn it into a no agenda segment because I never thought. I'm remiss because you're right. This is a native ad. It's very well produced. I don't know if I'd call it a scam. I'd call it a native ad, which is what it is. But they've managed to. It's incredibly creative. Yes. As far as I'm concerned, super kudos to whoever dreamed this one up. And I know people that can do this kind of work, and they work in it. They're not normal advertising people. They are these.
They're special. They're definitely special.
They're special. They're special.
Definitely special.
And they come up with these ideas, and then they have to sell them to the client, which in this case would be McDonald's, and then they have to, and then it's harder to sell to the client, McDonald's, than it is to the people taking the money. They just take the money and they follow orders.
I think that it's going really well for TikTok in the advertising world. I have, and it's also in the show notes, an important slide from an agency pitch deck where they are pitching switching away from Facebook and Instagram and others to TikTok. And the slide is titled, "Why TikTok? Why now?" You know the kind of slides, right? It's like,
they're great.
So here's a slide. Why now? An older audience is moving to TikTok. 16.4% of viewers.
No, wait. Where did this deck come from? Is it a TikTok deck?
No, it's an agency deck. I'm not allowed to say which deck.
It's an agency deck. You're not allowed. Well,
I promise.
I'm sure it's the same. I'm sure this deck, and they're always spelled DEK. This deck is
from the agency
being used by more than one agency.
I would think you're right. Yes,
I would hope so.
An older audience is moving to TikTok. 16.4% of viewers are 30 to 39, 21% are 40 to 50, and 61% are female. I'd say that's a sweet spot for
there
today's
you go.
ad. Oh, yeah.
Cha-ching.
TikTok is the most downloaded app of 2022. In 2020, and this is meant to discredit the other ones. In 2022, downloads surpassed Instagram and Facebook. See, that is what you give a client or potential client to say, clearly TikTok's a better place to be.
It's on the move.
It's trending. It's trending. And here's the killer. More time is spent watching TikTok videos than on Netflix. Viewers spend an average of 90 minutes per day on TikTok. I know. Wow. We're lost.
Wow.
We're lost. We're lost as a country. And this is why we need to get rid of TikTok. I've gotten so much pushback on this. People saying, no, man, that's not true. Because all the patriots on TikTok, they hate that. Because, all the stuff is getting banned from YouTube, but on TikTok, it's not getting banned. Trust me, brothers. Trust me.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, please do.
So I go on TikTok once every 2 days or so, and then I just to see, because I'm cookie-less. I just go jump on it out of the blue. But sometimes I come in from somebody else's, somebody says, look at this. And so I can think of a few people that we both know very well who watch TikTok all the time, it seems. You know who you are. So I go on there and I'll just listen to the stream. So I watch the one thing. Okay, well, maybe I can get a clip out of that. Maybe I can't. And then I let it go for about 5 or 10 minutes so I can see what's coming up after and after and after. The amount of, at least on this one stream that I latched onto, the amount of Democrat hate is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's one video after another. This one, the one I got the biggest kick out of is, I didn't record any of these, was this guy saying, "How did we elect this idiot? This guy's a scumbag." And it says Biden walking or staggering around. And it's going on and on. This guy's just demeaning Biden as much as he can. Then clicks to the next one and be something very similar. Right. And then they're all pro-Trump.
Oh, yeah. So it's definitely going on, but that's not the reason.
So that's why I think we're getting pushed back.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but, the actual term is they're patriot-friendly. Okay. If this was a turnoff for advertisers, then they would get rid of it. Trust me. That's how it always works. I also, the erythritol, this is not necessarily TikTok related, but the erythritol smears, which is, I guess it literally is Splenda, the sweetener, erythritol.
Yes, Splenda.
We talked about it on the last episode.
Yeah, we did.
Now, I remember this controversy back in the Pod Show days, 2006, 2007. Splenda was one of our first host-read advertisers, and we had a whole sheet that explained how to push back against the, it's going to kill you meme, which was out there. So this thing has been around for a long, long time. So why is this resurging now? Now, it may be that there's, competing advertising products in the market, but I thought this was a really good one from one of our producers. Erythritol has been made hugely popular by adherents of keto and similar low-carb diets. This is like the carnivore diet. And I know this to be true because I know several, keto is always, I think the last 5 years, keto has just gone up and up and up and up. To me, it's just like,
it's out of control.
It really is. People are going nuts over keto. And, so part of the keto diet is a healthy sampling of erythritol or Splenda in your coffee or your tea or maybe in your cooking. And the accusation here is that this is actually a way to bring down keto altogether. And I'm not sure if that's 100% correct, but I like the association because we have to get rid of actual animal protein and meat. We have to prepare people for the future of food.
Well, this trend is going in just the opposite direction.
What do you mean?
These diets are making people eat just pure protein and fat.
Right. So they want people off of that.
Well, they could go. Well, this isn't going to do it. That's kind of a lame way to go.
I'm just saying it's one answer to the question as to why now. And I just don't see a competing product in the market yet. It could be coming. Well, they try these other things like, what's that stuff? Stevenol or Steven something or other. Stevia.
Yeah. Good old stevia. And it's bitter. It's sweet and bitter, so that's no good.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
And so they got the aspartame or whatever it's called.
Aspartame. You're all over the map. Aspartame.
You could just have sugar once in a while.
Yes.
Spoon of honey, maybe.
Oh, man.
What I like for my sweetener is maple syrup. Once you get used to it, for example.
I love using maple syrup.
You use maple syrup in coffee?
Yep.
Match made in heaven.
Can I tell you a recipe that I do? And you're going to go, that's disgusting.
Okay, let me do. You just did it for me, so I don't have to do that.
When I bake salmon in the oven, on the top of the salmon, I'll drizzle just a little bit of maple syrup, and then cover that with lemon pepper. And then you bake it in the oven with a little bit of broil the last 3 minutes.
Huh.
That was close enough. I'll take a You should try it. If you like maple syrup, it actually kind of adds.
I do like maple syrup. I'll try maple syrup on salmon.
Yeah, just a drizzle, couple drizzles.
Dump it on there.
Yeah, quite nice. Why don't we just get into climate change for a second? Because I've got some exciting things. So exciting about climate change. The first thing that I have here really solves a big question that we've been looking at is, what is it with all of European countries moving into Africa? We've had the French, Macron, we've had the Germans in there. We haven't had the Brits in there, but I'm sure the Dutch are in there. Of course, we're also in there. The U.S. Everyone's in Africa doing stuff. And, of course, I'm sure China is part of the reason. Russia is part of the reason. The U.S. is part of the reason. But what are we really doing? And then this came across my desk. Well, I don't really have a desk, but my email. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this makes a lot of sense because Africa will be the new source of green hydrogen. It will be the battery continent.
This huge renewable energy farm is Germany's hope for a greener future. It's not being built in Germany, though, but in Namibia, one of Germany's former colonies. It's meant to produce green hydrogen, the fuel of the future to get away from fossil fuels. That's the promise. When he went to Namibia, Germany's economy and climate minister Robert Habeck stressed he wants a partnership between equals and avoid a green energy imperialism.
Yeah, right.
And it's a big chance for those countries.
This is crazy. This is becoming like a battery country.
Industries like steelmaking, heavy transport, or chemicals can simply switch to electricity from renewable sources. That is where green hydrogen comes in.
Green hydrogen right now is a lot more expensive than other fuels, which is why it is sometimes called the champagne of energy sources. Partly because of infrastructure, transit, and safety issues, but mainly because massive amounts of renewable energy are needed to create it.
So we have to look at countries with good preconditions.
So, because it doesn't have enough wind and solar capacities, Germany wants to import hydrogen and its derivatives. In order to do so, it has set up energy partnerships with a lot of countries, many of them in the global south.
In Namibia, a German company is planning this 10 billion euro energy project. Wind and solar farms will power the process of electrolysis. Water from the nearby ocean will be pumped in by a pipeline. The company promises that the local economy will benefit as well, with new jobs and access to energy and water. Minister Habeck stressed that Germany would only import energy that Namibia doesn't need for domestic consumption, and that the project above all has to serve the citizens of the African nation.
No, I'm sure that'll all take place. I love green hydrogen as the champagne of energy. I just love it.
Yeah, it's a good phrase. I like it. Overpriced champagne, in fact. We talked about this a couple of months ago when they first started doing it. And what's overlooked in this story is it kind of says, some wind and some solar. No.
I don't believe it
either. They are blanketing the area with these solar panels from China, I might add.
Uh-huh.
Chinese solar panels. And they're pretty much covering up as much of the countryside as they can. And then putting these factories up to use the electricity to it's usually near the coast.
Yeah.
To break up the water and put the hydrogen in a big tanker and then haul it to Europe. This is dumb.
I also don't think it's ever going to be enough energy, honestly. Nuclear, yeah, if they did nuclear, I'd believe it. But how about maybe they're just putting up coal plants and we're not just saying, oh, look at the shiny solar panels. And this also explains South Africa. South Africa's entire infrastructure is now on the verge of collapse, if we can believe the reporting. This is another great country to go in and do this. And maybe it's just greenwashing, maybe, who knows what if it's, 10 billion doesn't seem like a lot, by the way, to create green hydrogen. None of it seems like it's realistic. I'm not enough of a energy maven to know if the solar panels can create enough to actually create hydrolysis that, on any meaningful level.
I'm pretty sure they can do a meaningful level, but you still have the problem with hydrogen. It's a terrible product. It leaches through everything. It's one of the ships is going to catch on fire one of these days. It's just a pain in the ass to work with.
It's like Hindenburg ships.
Yeah, like the Hindenburg ship.
Yeah, is that the only way to store and transport it?
I can't think of any other way, at least if it's coming from Africa. Yeah, they got to put it on a boat.
Man.
And they get some pressurized containers. They're not going to turn it into liquid hydrogen. That would really be a pain in the butt.
Because?
This is dumb.
Yeah. Well, I really kind of love that whole story. thought it was really, really, really good. And it fits in perfectly. You know, climate change is moving in on us, and it's moving in so fast that the 15-minute cities, which we know are intended specifically to mitigate climate change, now that the cat is out of the bag, like we're seeing it all over the world, certainly in the United Kingdom, these 15-minute cities are actually happening. So the BBC came out with a 10-minute piece to debunk that the 15-minute cities are, well, what they're doing is they're taking it from, let's put it this way. What we know about 15-minute cities, the idea is that you should be able to take public transport or walk to anything you need, anything your life can provide that is a necessity within 15 minutes. Now, what comes on top of that is all these cameras and barriers that make sure that you
and fines
that make sure that you can't travel outside your zone without being fined, and that is based upon climate change. So what they're doing now, and the BBC did a very good job of this, and I cut that down to 2 minutes, which is still long, but it has all the pertinent pieces in there. They are now twisting this and saying, this is a conspiracy theory, 15-minute cities, conspiracy theory, none of it's true. Because
it's their idea.
No, see, they're twisting it by saying, people are saying this is climate change lockdown, which of course is exactly what it is. But they're taking it one step further and saying, you'll be locked in your house. That's not what this is. 15-minute cities aren't about that. Have a listen.
What if it could be different? What if we could create a new normal where we reclaim our time?
Again, this is the BBC.
Our health and well-being.
Food, medicine, education and leisure, all within a 15-minute walk or cycle. The idea of 15-minute cities has spread to Paris, Melbourne and South Korea, attracted by the promise of lower car use and a better quality of life. But it's also become the focus of conspiracies that travel outside these neighbourhoods would be restricted, a sort of climate lockdown. Disinformation researchers say this all started with the pandemic.
So the idea of climate lockdown first appeared in March 2020 when news of the lockdowns in Wuhan as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic first broke into international news. And the terminology came from a set of accounts in the US who were linked to a fossil fuel think tank called the Heartland Institute.
Have we ever heard of the think tank, the Heartland Institute, being the source of this 15-minute city?
No.
The
source, as far as I'm concerned, was Oxford.
Thank you, and the BBC.
Really, it was a reframing of very old vocabulary that imagines this future of so-called climate tyranny or green tyranny, where individual civil liberties are stripped away under the pretext of solving climate change.
15-minute cities have been drawn into this narrative of insidious control. In the UK, one particular target has been Oxford, where misinformation has recently led to counsellors receiving death threats.
We have been receiving many calls and emails from worried residents in genuine fear that they might be locked in their own homes.
Where's the death threat?
But criticism has also been levelled at the way the proposals have been communicated.
There were no great efforts for everybody in the city to be made aware of what's happening, and some people still don't actually know what's happening. You can see why certain people turn to conspiracy theories.
There is a wider point in all this, though. Behavioural change is seen by many experts as a crucial part of achieving the UK's legally binding climate targets. The UK's climate change
legally binding climate targets
committee has, for example, urged the government to create plans to reduce demand for air travel and help change people's diets. This recent concern and conspiracy shows how these kinds of policies are communicated may be central to the...
I love this. So they're saying, of course we're trying to motivate people to change their diets, which means no more meat, fake meat, etc. Change their travel, which means no airplanes, don't go outside your zone, citizen. And now they're actually going to say, this is important work we're doing.
Their success.
If you back it up a little bit, she says all these crazy things which resulted in people complaining, which you better believe it. And she says that the pushback is a conspiracy theory.
Yes.
What's she talking about?
There is a wider point in all this, though. Behavioural change is seen by many experts as a crucial part of achieving the UK's legally binding climate targets. The UK's Climate Change Committee has, for example, urged the government to create plans to reduce demand for air travel and help change people's diets. This recent concern and conspiracy shows how these kinds of policies are communicated may be central to the...
You're right. She literally says these concerns and did she say and conspiracy? I think she said
something like that. It was just like she passed it off as though first they say, we'd like to get people stuck in their houses in a little area where they can't walk too far and they can't travel and we're going to eliminate air travel and they're going to have to eat Beyond Meat. And people think that this is a conspiracy.
The crazy nutters.
This recent concern and conspiracy shows how these kinds of policies are communicated may be central to their success.
What we find in research is actually if you're completely transparent about nudges, so if you're about the idea that some policy proposals are designed to change people's behavior and what the government thinks are positive ways, if you actually state what the goals are of the nudge, be transparent and honest about it, it doesn't reduce the efficacy of those types of initiatives at all.
Very interesting, this guy.
Hey,
yeah.
We forgot about the nudges. We forgot they have a nudge agency, and they do these nudges. And England was based on doing nudges.
That's why I left it in. And the reason for that is WhatsApp Gate, which is the 100,000 messages that Matt Hancock over there in the UK during I think it's December 2020. Was discussing all of these nudges, but the nudges really went much further, saying things like, hey, let's release the new strain or communicate the new strain. We'll frighten
right, I saw that.
We'll frighten the pants off everyone with the new strain. Now, what this tells me is, they weren't releasing new strains, but they were totally scaring people. And when we do deploy the new variant, and I think probably the messaging about the new variant, they're not actually deploying a new variant, although I wouldn't put it past these creeps. And then stuff like more mask wearing might be the only thing to consider. Yes, effective, free, and has a very visible impact. Wearing masks in all settings outside the home and in more workplaces. This is going to work for us. So that does show the lunacy of these people.
And what is this about legally required climate targets or whatever she said at the beginning of her spiel?
Oh, that's all Agenda 51 stuff. That's all
bull crap. What happens if you don't do it?
No, well,
you get a ticket?
Yeah,
you have to pay. Do you have to go see a constable? What do you have to do here?
You get shamed. You get shamed at the next meeting in Paris. Hey, you have not been doing your work. No Pierre hairdo for you. Of course, this is exactly what Agenda 21 is about, and all of these agreements at the United Nations level. Of course, all the climate stuff is all legally binding because we have agreements, we have resolutions, we signed off on stuff, and this is why you have the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, who is pushing another climate change policy, which is, what is this thing called? It's the ULEZ, ultra-low emission zone, ULEZ. That London should be an ultra-low emission zone, ULEZ. And what does that mean? Battery cars, of course, or better, hydrogen cars, clean, green hydrogen. Hey! So during People's Question Time, which is an open forum where people can question the mayor, he decided it was best to shame these people who are against the idea of only battery cars or hydrogen cars being allowed into London, and he did it with a couple of good old tropes.
There are objections in 2006 when we banned smoking from public places, and there are objections now. What I find unacceptable, though, is some of those who've got legitimate objections joining hands with some of those outside who are part of a far-right group who are... Let's be frank. Let's call a spade a spade. Some of those outside are part of the far right. Some are COVID deniers. Some are vaccine deniers, and some are Tories. Look,
Hang on.
So, if you're against ultra low emission zone, then you are anti-vax, anti-COVID, and you're a Tory.
The mayor has a right to be heard, right? Don't look. This people's question time is an opportunity for you to have a change of views, not to hackle or shout, please. Otherwise, we could end this very, very quickly.
Yeah, if you keep doing that, we're just going to end it. We're just going to not talk anymore to you. Okay, we can do that whenever we want.
Now, to those people who've got legitimate concerns. A fact, by the way, it is a fact. Some of you have got good reasons to oppose ULEZ, but you're in coalition with COVID deniers. You're in coalition. You may not like it. 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 You're in coalition with the far right, and you're in coalition with vaccine deniers as well.
So even if you're not far right, a vax denier, or anything that's fringe from his perspective, and you have a good reason for disliking this idea, and there's probably plenty, you're no good. You're just as bad as those people.
Yeah, pretty much.
So this is not a question and answer time.
No, this is a scolding time.
This is nonsense. This guy stinks. The fact that he's mayor of London or anything, I mean, he's like Trudeau. He's almost like a Trudeau.
Yeah. Only Trudeau won't let you yell at him like that. He just won't show up for that stuff. Now I got one more clip here, and this is really about the warming of the Earth. Well, maybe I should set it up this way. Have we seen incredible warming of California in the past month?
Let me interrupt your clippage.
Okay.
With a clip.
Oh, very good.
And the clip will be just because it elucidates your point.
Yes. I have
California, under California, snowed in.
In the San Bernardino area of California, residents say they are frustrated by the response to winter weather that's dumped record snowfall in back-to-back storms. People are still trapped in their homes. Grocery stores are running out of food. Some roads remain closed. Nina Clark works at the community market in Big Bear, where supplies are dwindling.
It feels like it's the end of the world or something, like we're just being completely ignored and forgotten about.
Natalia Hinkelman is a coordinator of a civilian response that's been collecting donations and then using either helicopters or snowmobiles to deliver much-needed food. She says help is being coordinated.
We have notifications of newborns that have no food available, kids that are starving. And it's heartbreaking to see how we civilians have taken a punt to do the job.
More snow is forecast this weekend.
In the time that you've lived in California, which has been quite a while, have you ever witnessed this type of record-breaking snowfall? I guess
no. This is a winter.
A winter. Yeah, I mean, there's trapped California mountain residents plea for help, snowed in and terrified.
Nobody's giving him any help either. It's like, too bad. It's warming. Exactly. Shut up.
How does that report gel with this one from Deutsche Welle?
A new analysis of global CO2 emissions put out by the International Energy Agency is a mix of both good and bad news. Well, the headline figure is a record high for energy-related emissions in 2022 to almost 37 billion tons. That's nearly a full % more than the prior year. On the bright side, rising clean technologies, including solar cells and battery-powered vehicles, helped limit overall emissions. And those technologies are poised to play an even greater role in the years ahead. That's according to the report. All right, Michael Sterner is an energy researcher at the Regensburg University of Applied Sciences. He joins me for more. Michael, thank you for coming to the show. The IEA says that recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic is proving more sustainable than past crises. Do you see that there is indeed good news in this report, or are we just so desperate to find a silver lining when overall energy-related emissions actually went up?
No, I think it's really good news because the energy transition is already working. Without this, we would have 3 times more emission raising.
It's already working. You're soaking in it, Madge.
So it's already helping in reaching our climate goals, reducing energy independency, and stabilize our economy. I mean, there are billions of tons of CO2 avoided, billions of euros that don't go through the pipelines to Russia, but remain in our economy, in our European, German economy. They stay here, they create jobs, they create welfare. So that's the good side. But we also, like you discussed, the IRA, we need to stabilize that by doing right policy making.
So if I understand it, we've actually been too successful because, people are trapped and can't get out of Northern California because it's all working so well. I mean, and we still had this should be warming the crap out of everything, but it's not. I'm baffled. I don't understand.
Because it's a hoax. I think you can go back to the global cooling days and
yes, I'm ready to believe that. I'd even believe it's because of CO2. That makes more sense. It just logically, because of more greenhouse gases, we're going into a global cooling. That was the promise in the 70s.
Well, it wasn't due to the greenhouse gases. It was due to the reflections and the reflection off, especially off the North Pole. As more snow increased, it reflected more heat off the Earth because you had the bigger area. So that area reflected the sun, and that would cause the cooling effect. And once it began, from what I've seen, the glaciers have been retreating, and I think that's true, which is good. Mm-hmm. We don't want glaciers. They're no good.
They're annoying.
They get in the way, and then But if those things stop retreating and start going in the other direction, we're in trouble. That's what I'm on that lookout for.
Yeah.
Yes,
Goodness.
it's been the weather here has been. It's actually been quite nice around here because what it does, it rains for 2 days and it's clear and sunny for 2 days, and it rains like hell and then it's clear and sunny. So you don't have flooding, but all that rain every time the 2 days comes around, it rains here, but then it goes up to the mountains and dumps a ton. Like yesterday, down 5 feet of snow in March up at the mountain.
Right.
So it's snowing a lot. Well, is that your weather report for today?
That's what I have for today. Yes, that's what I have for today.
Well, I have some Ukrainian stuff I want to get out with, but I first of all, I have a series of clips.
Okay.
From Bill Browder.
Oh, yes. Bill Browder is the guy who got kicked out of Russia, got put on the no entry list, and apparently all his money was stolen.
It's worth reading his wiki page. I recommend it. It's like reading a novel.
Oh yeah, it's almost like a true crime drama. It's phenomenal what this guy's done.
He's absolved his U.S. citizenship. He's become a UK citizen. He had the Magnitsky, whatever it is, the bunch of laws were passed thanks to him.
Yeah.
Because his lawyer was murdered by the Russians, and it's just a damn interesting story. But he, for all practical purposes, hates the Russians.
Oh, and yes.
Yeah,
particularly the oil.
He's the one behind the idea that we should steal their money.
Okay. Are you going to prove to me that I'm wrong? Is that what this is about?
I don't know what you did that was wrong, but you said it was not. We could do it, but he himself says we can't.
Not
because
yet. No.
Sovereign immunity.
Small correction. I said they are doing everything they can to change whatever international law is to be able to do it. That's exactly what I said.
I'm not going to disagree with that, but I don't think they're making that much of an effort that you might believe.
Okay.
I think there's this guy and a bunch of other people making noise. It's not going to happen. It'd be funny if it did, but let's listen to him. He's on Amimpor's show.
Yes.
And he's being interviewed by Walter.
Mm-hmm.
Eisenstadt or whatever his name is, the guy who did the Steve Jobs biography, the guy who's got the white hair and
Asimov, wasn't it? No, what's his name?
No, Eisen, the guy who did Steve Jobs biography.
I hear you.
And he looks to be a spook as far as I'm concerned. Head of the Aspen Institute.
Isaacson. Walter Isaacson.
Exactly.
Thank you, trolls.
So here we go. This is kind of interesting. Then it goes on and goes. I've got a lot of clips, but they're not short, but they're not long. But they're interesting, and I think you'll like them. This is Bill Browder. Won money from Russia. This starts it.
Yeah, here we go.
We could isolate Russia much further than we're currently doing if we said to everybody, it's either us or them. And everybody always votes with their feet and votes with the money when it comes right down to it. We haven't put that to them. We haven't been tough in that way. That's one thing we could do. There's one other thing which I've been going around the world talking about, which I think would make a big difference in the war in Ukraine, which is that after the war started, the first thing the Western governments did was we froze $350 billion of central bank reserves.
There you go.
The war has done at least $1 trillion, maybe $1.2 trillion of damage to Ukraine. Russia's done the damage. We have custody of their money. Instead of just having that money frozen, that money should be confiscated and handed over to the Ukrainians, both for their defense and their reconstruction. Putin broke it. He should fix it. That's probably the single biggest thing we could do in the very short term to tip the balance in Ukraine's favor in this whole conflict.
Explain to me the mechanics of confiscating their central bank reserves.
Oh, good.
Well, so at the moment, those reserves are protected by something called sovereign immunity. Sovereign immunity means that anything that belongs to a country, a state, can't be taken away. You can't just move into the embassy because you would like that property because it belongs to that country. And normally that would be a reasonable thing, and that's how international law has worked for the last, many, many years.
Oh, this is good. So sovereign immunity. Who polices the sovereign immunity?
This is done by treaties and UN resolutions and UN agreements.
UN. So the UN.
It's pretty much the UN, and if you violate it, you are sued internationally.
Well, if you violate it, then you get a ticket, or what do you get then?
Well, to rephrase what I said a minute ago,
yes,
yeah, you get a ticket.
Okay.
No, you can. Here's what happens if you do it. For example, Switzerland has a lot of the Russian money, and they refuse to do anything because they said people will lose confidence in them. And Switzerland's, banking community.
Mm-hmm.
We would, if we did it, we would, our stock market would collapse and the bond market would collapse. Everything.
Really?
China would take their money out. He goes on about this, but that's what would happen. We would have an economic collapse if we tried to pull this stunt.
Can I just say one thing about that? And just quickly, because I do have I'm a little prepared for this. I didn't know you were going to do Browder. I like it. I really do like it. We did pretty much the same thing with the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait. And the Lawfare blog, I put it in the show notes, has a pretty good explanation of how that worked, where we literally took their frozen money and paid it in reparations to Kuwait. So it has been done in the past, but this may be a different scenario. I'm not a lawyer, obviously. And it could be done through Australia because Australia does not participate in the sovereign immunity system. So, it seems like a long shot to do it through them, but it's not the whole world is on board with this.
We're running the show here. Australia's got nothing to do with this situation in Ukraine. It would be ridiculous. But let's play out this next clip, too.
Putin has redefined international crime. He has redrawn the borders of Europe. He's invaded a foreign country. He's been a mass murderer, killed unimaginable numbers of people. And so we're sitting there in this situation where he's redefined international crime. And we're sitting there saying, and your money is still protected. We need to redefine international law to elevate it to the level of the way he's become an international criminal. And what does that mean specifically? That means that laws have to be passed in a number of major developed countries, which says that sovereign immunity always applies in every single circumstance, except in the circumstance when a country has invaded a neighboring country and committed an act of aggression, which is how this war is being defined under legal terms. So that's the one narrow circumstance where sovereign immunity no longer applies. If we did that, if the United States and the European Union and Great Britain and Canada and Japan rewrote their laws to say that sovereign immunity applies in all circumstances other than those, then we could then confiscate their money.
Just to add to that, I like that. It would mean a rewriting of the rules, which is what I said, that they're working on that. In November of last year, 50 nations co-sponsored a resolution on establishing an international mechanism for compensation for damage, loss, and injury, as well as a register to document evidence and claims. That's the crimes of aggression, which is now somehow is going to be the basis of war crimes. It's not there yet. A resolution is just a resolution, but I understand what he's saying, and that would have to happen. And you're saying, and maybe rightly so, that we'll never do that. We will never. We'll never commit to changing and getting on board by getting rid of the sovereign immunity.
Yes, that's my position.
Okay, that's good. That's good. But I'm with Browder, which I didn't expect to be on Browder's side of anything.
Yeah, there's that. Let's go with 3.
If you wanted to confiscate the foreign reserves, and you've talked about laws being passed in the West, would China and India have to go along?
Well, so the thing is that all you have to do is get the countries that have reserve currencies revise their laws. So in other words, we don't, if we don't keep our money in China. So it's not a reciprocal thing. If you get the major reserve currencies, the places where Russia keeps their money. And by the way, there's one other great benefit to doing this, which is that if we confiscate Russia's money for invading a neighboring country, who else has got a whole bunch of money in the West that's eyeing
China
and potentially going to invade a neighboring country? That's China. Now, some people would argue that this idea is a dangerous idea because China will just abandon all countries and keep their money at home. But that just, if it's just the U.S. doing this, that might happen with the dollar. But if everybody does it together that has a reserve currency, then China will have to go along with it. They have to be scared of it.
Interesting. Man, your mic is banging a lot.
Really? I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, but just when you're grabbing it or something, and it just...
I did grab it, yeah.
Yes. Stop grabbing
All right,
this.
Browder 4.
Well, hold on.
Yeah?
Could they do that? It makes no sense. Doing that for Russia, doing that for any country would make everyone pissed off. Isn't China's... Don't they have some version of reserve currency at this point? Aren't they being used as reserve currency by many countries?
One of those baskets.
Yeah, the SDR, the SDRs.
Yeah, but they got so much money in our bonds that what they would do would dump all the bonds. It's definitely, it would be bad.
Just to follow up, and then just because I have these listed, 94 countries voted in favor of the reparations resolution. Russia got 14 votes against, and another 73 countries abstained. And this is in November, so it doesn't seem likely. But Russia has threatened that they want to dissolve the United Nations over this.
Well, that's pretty good.
I'm kind of all for that, too. I'm confused now.
Too bad we can't do both.
Yeah, that would be great. All right. This is good.
So now I have a clip that's called Idiotic Comment. This is clip 4.
What about in the Middle East? Both Israel and the Saudis don't seem to be on board. What's the reason for that, and what can be done?
Well, I think it's really shameful that the Israelis, Israel's a country that was formed as a sort of reaction to a genocide, are now seeing a genocide taking place in another country and are not helping out that country. I find that really unpleasant and disturbing.
Wait, why is that, do you think?
Well, their argument is that the Russians are in Syria. Syria poses an existential threat to Israel, and therefore they've got to play all different sides. I think they could easily, for example, the Israelis have an Iron Dome defense situation which prevents people from bombing them. They should provide that Iron Dome defense mechanism to Ukraine so that the Ukrainian infrastructure isn't destroyed. They could easily help the Ukrainians with defensive weapons.
What is that? We're the ones that provide the so-called Iron Dome. Not Israel's now going to give
it's Raytheon.
Yeah, thank you. Raytheon's the one who supplied. Not even the U.S. It's Raytheon specifically.
And the Iron Dome around Tel Aviv specifically.
It sucks. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. A, it doesn't work. B, it's a small area. Ukraine is the size of two massive countries like France and Germany combined.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? How's that work? This is dumb.
Yeah.
So when he said that, I'm thinking, this is hopeless.
Okay. Because he's saying the crap now, then the other stuff was crap. All right. Well, I still like the other stuff. I like the other stuff.
Of course you do.
Don't have to agree with everything he says.
You want to punish Russia.
I don't. No, I just want to be right. I don't give a crap. I don't want to punish.
Oh, that's true. That's right. You want to be right.
I don't want to punish Russia. I would like the war to end so we can get on and move over to China.
How about that for an idea?
Let's move over to China. Let's get that going. Let's get something new happening here. I'm tired of Ukraine.
Let's go with clip 6.
6? Did you do 5? We didn't do 5. Do you want to skip 5?
Oh, no, we didn't do 5. Sorry, 5.
And on the Saudi Arabian side, they've really not been a good ally to the United States. Historically, the United States had a deal, which is that the Saudis keep oil prices stable to keep the economy stable, and in return, the United States provides a sort of military.
Hold on. Not entirely true. It was that the Saudis would sell oil in dollars to keep it the reserve currency of the world, not just to keep it stable. So I don't know why he's omitting that important fact.
Blanket over Saudi Arabia so that they're protected. And the military blanket continues to exist, but they haven't been playing ball when it comes to oil. When the oil prices went up because of Putin, what do? What? They cut production even more. I think the Saudis aren't playing fair game, and nor is the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates are hosting scores of Russian oligarchs. Numerous Russian oligarch yachts are parked in Dubai. This is another country that's supposed to be an ally of the United States, and they're not playing ball. And so there's a lot of pressure that we could apply to our allies if we chose to do it. And the United States is a very powerful country, and I believe should in all 3 cases.
Is he now suggesting that we go over there and point a gun at their head and say, hey, yeah. And by the way, how much do you think a military blanket really costs? I mean, that's got to be a very expensive blanket.
I don't know. I just find this guy's comments about playing ball. They're not playing ball.
Yeah. Well, they're not. They're not. We know that the Saudis supposedly are selling oil to the Chinese in their currency, working stuff out.
These things get resolved.
But that's all intentional. That's all to bring in climate change or whatever, green hydrogen. To me, that's intentional. Not from the dollar side. Well, we just kick people off SWIFT. Screw you. China, I think that's what they would do before anything. Oh, China, you problem? We'll just kick you off SWIFT. Just like Russia. That's how stupid these people are. Our people.
So there's only 2 left. Let's listen to the bullshit clip.
One of the things you've always pushed for is going after Putin's wealth personally. Tell me, how did he get all that money, and where is it, and what can we do?
Well, so Putin doesn't keep any money in his own name. If he did, then whoever had the bank documents to show it could blackmail him.
Oh.
So Putin has to rely on people he trusts. I call them oligarch trustees. And so when you see an oligarch who's supposedly worth $15 or $20 billion on paper, you can be pretty well sure that half that money belongs to Vladimir Putin. And so when we sanction the oligarchs, when we identify the biggest and richest oligarchs in Russia and we freeze their money, we're not just freezing their money, we're freezing Vladimir Putin's money. And so one of the reasons that I've been so forceful on the issue of sanctioning Russian oligarchs is because we're sanctioning Vladimir Putin personally. And so we've done a good job with that. And he says, this doesn't matter. Well, he's fuming when these oligarchs find their assets frozen at different banks around the world.
That's my boat.
All right, so I found this to be one of the more problematic, and using that word, clips.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Now let's start with the basic premise. Putin has no money in his name because he could be blackmailed.
Yeah, ever hear of the Panama Papers? You can hide that stuff easily.
Well, what's the point of even hiding it?
Right. He should have gone a different track. He should have said, Vladimir Putin has all his money in Bitcoin. That's what he should have said. That would have been much funnier. And much more believable.
Funny, but it wouldn't be true.
It would be believable.
But say he has his money in gold. Say he has $1 billion, $5 billion. I mean, they make it sound like he's got
hundreds of billions,
$1 trillion, and he could be blackmailed. Somehow he can be blackmailed. A guy with that much money. I don't think so.
Isn't this
Bill Gates doesn't hide his money this way. So why is he hiding his money in the first place? But then the second thing that really got me is that if half of the money that all these, say there's a dozen oligarchs in particular, just take the 12 off the top that are worth anywhere between 10 and 20 or $30 billion each. Each one of them, half of their money belongs to Putin. Why wouldn't they just get together and kill him?
Well, thank you.
You could shoot Putin, and you say you're worth $30 trillion, $30 billion, and half of that money actually belongs to Putin. Well, you and a bunch of other guys, you shoot Putin, and now you're the 30 trillion. Yeah, you get the $30 billion all to yourself. I mean, this is nonsense. It makes zero sense what he said.
What Browder is doing here, and maybe that's part of his let's steal the money gambit, is continuing along the lines of, this is not about Russia. We don't hate Russia. No. It's only one person, one man. It's all of this, the whole problem in the world, inflation, climate change, Germany having to rape Africa. Everything is the fault of just one man and one man only, and that's Putin. Don't be mad at the Russians. Be mad at one man, Putin. This is what this is about. For some odd reason, I guess they're going to build it up and then try to explode a cigar or whatever that we've tried in the past to kill him, and then it'll be ding dong, the witch is dead, and everything will be over. It's a real build up here.
Yeah, well, that's a bad idea.
Probably, but look at who's running the show: Victoria Nuland, Jake Sullivan, Ned Price.
They all hate Putin.
Yeah, Putin specifically.
Putin gets in the way of their schemes.
Yeah.
So let's go. Now, here's one that you'll enjoy. This is the last clip from Browder.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, this war isn't going to end tomorrow like some people that we both know can think. 5 years minimum. Here we go.
Oh, goodness.
You say this is going to be a long war the way it's going now. Envision for me what it'll be like 5 years from now if this thing is still going on the way it is.
Well, this is his vision, in my mind, is he knows he can't win the war, but he also doesn't care about the lives lost from his side. He doesn't really care about the destruction of his military equipment. In his mind, what he's thinking is that we're going to lose patience before he loses patience. He's thinking that in these democratic countries where we have elections all the time, where we grow tired and where we have a limited bandwidth, that eventually we're going to stop supporting Ukraine. And that's his only way out of this whole thing, is just to outlast us. And so,
well, wait, might he be right?
I think that's my biggest fear. I mean, if you look at the trajectory of the Ukrainians right now, they're really causing just no end of hardship for Putin and his military. And on the current trajectory, the Ukrainians probably would eventually succeed over some long period of time. And so, but we've heard murmurings in the United States and in Europe from far right, from all sorts of strange characters saying no more money for Ukraine, no more support for Ukraine. If those murmurings that are at the moment very narrow sections of the political establishment become bigger sections, Putin may very well be right, and that's the fear I have.
Oh, goodness. Well, you're right. This is the Brooks rule. goes into effect. So this thing has to end quickly. Or maybe not. Maybe not, because, this is the result of the war.
As the ongoing war in Ukraine continues, the ones profiting are defense firms. Lockheed Martin, a major American defense company, has now announced a record-breaking annual production goal after a massive success of its high-mobility artillery rocket systems, or HIMARS systems, on the battleground.
Yay! Record profits, everybody. Beautiful. Good job, everyone.
Yeah, well, here's my Ukraine update. This is NPR's, let's see, where is it?
I got it.
Ukraine update, NPR.
I got it.
Ukrainian troops are helping civilians flee the eastern town of Bakhmut, which Russian forces have bombed and shelled for months. NPR's Joanna Kakissis reports military analysts say Ukrainian soldiers may be preparing to pull out of the besieged city.
Yeah.
So far, Ukrainian military officials say there are no plans to retreat from Bakhmut, even as Russian forces inch ever closer. NPR recently spoke to soldiers in northwestern Ukraine training to deploy to Bakhmut. A soldier named Vadim, who declined to reveal his last name for security reasons, says he's planning to relieve members of his battalion already there.
They will be there for several weeks and we will change them. We are ready.
But British and American military analysts say Ukrainian forces have blown up key bridges in Bakhmut, signaling a retreat.
Yeah, this is trending. The idea that Ukraine will be pulling out of Bakhmut, and here's my version.
Well, there's a lot of speculation around here about whether Ukrainian troops are preparing to withdraw. Officially, the Ukrainian position is that they are not withdrawing. Most soldiers that we tried to speak to said no comment when asked about any plans to withdraw. Others, though, were willing to speculate a little bit, and what they said was that they were not withdrawing so far, but some of them thought that it was more likely that Ukrainian forces would have to pull out of Bakhmut than not. The main reason being that although at the moment it's still freezing at night, so the ground remains reasonably hard, that is set to change in the next few days, which means it's going to get much more muddy and the ground will be much softer. And at the moment, the Ukrainians don't really have a paved road that they can use to go in and out of Bakhmut. There was a bridge that was blown up a couple of days ago on the road that they were still using. They've replaced that with a pontoon bridge, but that makes things very difficult logistically for getting in and out of town. At the moment, they're still also able to use dirt roads, but that won't be the case, not for wheeled vehicles anyway, once it gets more muddy. So that's perhaps the main difficulty that they're facing at the moment.
What I could not find in any of the reports is the location of Bakhmut, which is smack dab in the middle of the Donbas region. So a pullout from that, to me, would mean there's your new border. That's so Donbass, just give that, let that rest. It's shit anyway. We don't want it. Let Russia keep that. That could be the new border, and maybe that would be the way out.
Well, if some parties, I would put our government in that category, if some parties insisted on negotiations and ending this thing instead of testing military gear by the boatload at the expense of our taxpayers.
Yeah,
that probably could happen.
That seems to be ending. I've been looking into why we can't supply Ukraine with any more ammunition. And I got a reasonable answer here from Defense One. They're all, I guess they are a website that reports on the defense industry.
Yeah, it's got a very good newsletter. I subscribe to it.
Yes, I subscribe where you get all the numbers. 100,000 for 100 million for Lockheed, 400 million for Raytheon. Every day, by the way, every single day. U.S. and allied production of artillery ammunition has emerged as a key problem in supplying Ukraine, which burns through thousands of shells a day fighting Russia's invasion. Ukraine may lose the war if it doesn't receive enough supplies. This is what European Union Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said February 20th. Now, here's the problem. Obtaining the raw materials might be a problem eventually, but not yet, he said at an event held by the Center for Strategic and International Studies. That's a great group. The U.S. already maintains large stockpiles of some of the key raw materials, such as the precursor chemicals for explosives But how much of the other raw materials the U.S. should keep in reserve is an open question. The issue really is stockpiling. The question is, how much can you afford to do? Like, we can't afford to print more money. The U.S. has no shortage of raw materials used for artillery shell manufacture, but the production capabilities potentially taking the stress off the U.S. could come from Poland, unlikely. What seems to be the problem is steel, that we just don't have enough steel to make this happen. And as I read through these pieces, I just see a lot of excuses, people waffling around. I mean, does that mean that we can't get enough of that phony baloney steel from China? Or are we going to export the manufacture of some of this to Poland, Australia, other countries that want to do this? They
have the same issues. I mean, the steel mostly is made in China and India nowadays. I mean, we could make steel, but we make, the steels. When we make steel, we make specialty steels, high-end stainless steels and things like that are used for other purposes, as opposed to artillery shells.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this whole thing may be a test of a stress test for the military-industrial complex. And, assuming it's a proxy war, let's assume that we were in this. I mean, you can just see a meeting about this with a guy with a pointer. Let's assume this is a war that we're fighting. The Ukrainians are our soldiers, and now we have to supply them. What are the bottlenecks? What are the kinks?
How about this? Supply and demand, artificial shortage. They just want to make more money.
Well, that could be an element. That wouldn't be a shocker.
No.
But it could be a combination of both.
And the general word is, we have to save some for China. We got to. Even the Secretary of the Army was saying, we shouldn't be giving F-16s to Ukraine. We got to send them to Taiwan. We got to get it ready for China. 2027. We only have a few years left. They are solidly running the show here. The MIC companies, they have everybody by the balls. Mainly the U.S. taxpayers.
So, as we're talking about Ukraine, I do have an Ask Adam series.
Okay. This is always fun. I wasn't
now, there's three
this.
clips. There's the one with the answer, and then there's Geopolitical. Ignore those. That's number 3. That's the third clip.
Well, hold on.
Ask Adam.
One of our favorite gambits here, ladies and gentlemen. The Ask Adam segment. All right.
Okay. This is Ask Adam, Ukraine supply. Ready?
Yep.
Hit it.
In the early months of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Ukraine's supply lines were abruptly cut off. One of the supplies people could no longer get
is what?
One
of the supplies people could
Play it again.
Hold on. All right. This is a good question.
In the early months of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Ukraine's supply lines were abruptly cut off. One of the supplies people could no longer get
birth control pills.
I'll give you a point for that.
Oh, thank you.
Play clip 2.
Thank you.
In the early months of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Ukraine's supply lines were abruptly cut off. One of the supplies people could no longer get abortion pills.
Oh, I was so close. Wow. I was going to say Viagra at first, but then I'm like, no,
Yeah, you were kind of on the right track. But,
yeah.
But then we have to, since this is a kind of, let's make some points here, abortion pills, NPR.
Wait a minute. I thought that on the last show, we have Ukrainian men freezing their sperm so that they can still build a country of young Ukrainians if they get killed on the front lines. And now the next show, 4 days later, we hear that abortion pills were the problem? This is crazy.
Well, let's make it so we had these war reports over the last 15 years now and again.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that we angle this the right way. So here's the bonus clip that follows all this other stuff. Ask Adam, Geopolitical 3.
And the first reason was rape cases.
Oh,
the request that first sparked this donation of pills was a plea on behalf of women raped by Russian soldiers.
My goodness, I could have figured that one out. Oh my goodness, it's always some bull crap like that, isn't it? They're raping the women. They're handing out Viagra so they can rape all the women. Oh man,
things aren't changing that much.
That is so lame. I thought I had something on this. No. If we just get off Ukraine for a minute, because I'm kind of bored of it. There was.
I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. It was a similar gambit being used in Iran, because we still have to kick Iran's ass, for whatever. I know it's subjugate them to our deal or whatever it is. Iran's coming back. Or Iran's trending, and it's trending with the poisoning of the schoolgirls.
Welcome to the news hour. Let's bring you some breaking news coming out of Iran, where dozens of schoolgirls across 5 provinces are in hospital after a new wave of suspected poisoning attacks. Of course, the authorities have said that it's Iran's enemies are behind this, but that's pretty vague in itself. Are they being any clearer about where the finger of blame is being pointed?
No, for right now, there is no clear answer being provided by any officials in government. We heard from the Iranian president, Ebrahim Raisi, during his speech on Friday. He accused Western powers of carrying out these attacks to try and create instability in Iran and to try to create fear amongst the parents of these girls, of schoolgirls in general in the country. We know that the president has tasked the interior minister to look into these attacks and also trying to figure out what is happening and to prevent them from taking place. We understand that the various levels of intelligence apparatuses in the country are also working with the interior ministry. But I think it's important to point out that we don't have any clear answers, and the officials haven't provided any evidence that they've come up with that would prove Western powers to be involved or foreign powers to be involved in these attacks. What is clear is that they are increasing in numbers, which is only making parents more worried. I've spoken to a number of parents over the past few hours who say they're clearly worried about their daughters and they're not sure if they will send them back to school in the coming days.
All right, what is missing from this report, which she says clearly a lot? What is missing from the report?
Well, to me, what's missing is that the Iranians don't want the girls to go to school. Pretty much like the Taliban.
Well, so that's why reports here eventually will start. Well, the Taliban or the regime, which we need to change in Iran, is poisoning the schoolgirls. Don't want them to go to school. But what's missing is any analysis of the poison being used. Not a single word.
Yes, excellent point.
Now, what do I think it could be? We go back to Havana syndrome. Because you see all these videos of these girls lying on cots, filling up the hallways. And by the way, that could be a total. They're throwing babies out of incubators. That's also possible. I don't know. That would be a good one.
Yeah, it could be staged.
It could be staged. But I don't see them puking, and I don't see puke everywhere. I don't see them going into convulsions and just laying there. They're looking like, I don't feel good. Could this be a Havana syndrome weapon? We may be using that. It's just there's something screwy about this story, and the lack of any type of toxicology reporting is telling, I think. So it's either phony, or it could be something like one of our Havana syndrome weapons, which I think we've pretty much deconstructed the intelligence agencies are using on each other.
Yeah, I doubt if we have anything to do with this. It's something else. But I just don't see why. What's the point? I mean, we play these sorts of games, but that's pretty granular. It seems to me for us to be involved. I think if we're going to zap somebody with these things, we zap a couple of the high up guys and have some fun.
Hey, why don't we do that to Putin? We should zap him.
Yeah,
now you're talking. Let's zap him. Yeah, zap Putin.
Zap him.
You know what? The military-industrial complex doesn't want Putin zapped. We can't have that happening. What will happen to sales if the war in Ukraine ends prematurely before we're positioned for the war in China or the war over Taiwan or whatever we're going to call it? The war in Asia.
Well, that's been scheduled for 2026. That's a ways off.
2027.
That was 26.
No, it's 2027. That's what the CIA told us, the CIA guy.
27?
Yeah, hold on.
Burns.
Bill Burns. Yeah, here it is. Preparing.
Countries are increasingly wary of China, which is continuing its military buildup. The head of the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency is warning of China's intentions in the Indo-Pacific. William Burns says President Xi Jinping appears to be readying for an invasion of Taiwan by 2027.
We know as a matter of intelligence that he's instructed the People's Liberation Army to be ready by 2027 to conduct a successful invasion. Now, that does not mean that he's decided to conduct an invasion in 2027 or any other year, but it's a reminder of the seriousness of his focus and his ambition.
Burns warned Xi should not be underestimated. The Chinese president is currently serving his third term in office. It expires in 2027. Burns says Xi is closely watching Russia's invasion of Ukraine and is likely unsettled and a little sobered by the performance of the Russian military.
There you go.
He needs a little action for his re-election.
Oh, totally.
It's an old classic gambit.
So there was
like when George Bush ran for re-election, and all of a sudden we were on orange alert. Remember those things at the airport?
Yes. Was it just?
Yeah, it was just before the election, and everyone condemned him for being using it as a political ploy, so he could get reelected.
Right.
And guess what? If I may ask you to guess,
go ahead. I'll try.
It was a political ploy.
Yeah. So the Treaty of the Sea has been agreed to, but not signed. But this was a big thing this week at the United Nations, and the Treaty of the Sea pushes out a zone. I think it's 200 miles from, which is like an incredible amount, 200 miles from any country's exclusive economic zone. And that will be a protected zone that, you can't fish in and do all kinds of stuff. And, it's like, it was really kind of unclear what the point was of everyone making such a big deal out of this. Although I do recall Hillary Clinton being all jacked up on the Treaty of the Sea years and years ago. Actually, 2003 we were playing this.
The 2003 treaty between Russia and Ukraine.
Oh, wait. This is 2018, sorry.
Designates the Kerch Strait and the Sea of Azov as shared territorial waters, but Moscow has been asserting greater control over the area since its annexation of the Crimean Peninsula in 2014, particularly since May this year, when it opened the new 19-kilometer bridge linking the peninsula to Russian territory to the east of the Kerch Strait.
So it extends your economic zone, essentially. So although they didn't get a full-on text of this resolution in the United Nations, everyone was all giddy and all jacked and all happy about it. And I'm like, what could this mean? Why is this so important? And then I found this.
Let's now talk about islands. There are islands with an area of less than the Vatican City, sometimes claimed by 3 or even more countries. Seemingly insignificant islands hold strategic and economic treasure for countries. Every island offshore provides an avenue for military and naval bases. The 200 nautical miles area around the island's shores falling in a country's exclusive economic zone, which means that the particular nation can lay exclusive claim to all the resources available in this area. Now consider this. A country recently found that it has not 1, not 2, but over 7,000 islands which were previously not accounted for. The country which has hid the treasure is Japan.
So Japan could extend its economic zone with military hardware, ours, by an extra 200 miles. Wouldn't that be convenient?
For them.
Yes, that's the point. Move towards China. Now
what happens if you have a situation?
Sorry?
What happens when you have a situation? This used to be a big deal back in the Nixonian era, where you have two islands, Quemoy and Matsu, that are across from each other. One owned, I think one's Chinese and one's Japan or one's Korean. I don't know what the two countries are.
Yeah.
But the island themselves, let's just say any random two islands that are owned by two different countries are within 200 miles of each other.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah.
Well, that has to be resolved in the treaty.
It has to be resolved with violence. Come on, we're going for violence, man, not for just any old treaty. That's no fun. We want some action. We got to get something going here. Oh, man.
You really like that woman. That's what I got a kick out of it. You follow her.
Oh, this is not Paki Sharma.
No?
No. This is.
She sounds just like her.
Hello, WION. That's racist of you to say, but yes, the Indian women often sound alike. Now, she's gone to something called First Post,
didn't she leave WION?
Yeah, she left WION. This is WION, and so they just put a replacement.
Sound alike, another woman.
I think they all kind of sound alike. I'm just saying. The difference is
you'll be hearing from our Brahmin.
I know. The difference is this lady leaves long pauses in between. I left the first one in, but I cut most of them out because she really leaves. Speaking of such, more response from my rant against Podspeeding. That is now the official term. Pod fasting was not working for everybody. Podspeeding is the act of listening to a podcast at more than the normal speed. We have unscientific evidence, but a lot of accounts, firsthand accounts of people saying that it has hijacked their nervous system. They have no patience with the people around them, people they love, their spouses, their children, their coworkers, that it makes them jittery. And there are two more pieces that came in that I would like to share because
I want to mention something here.
Yes.
I have gotten some complaining notes about this, about your obsession with this.
Yes, I'm just trying to save lives, that's all.
And I'm backing you on this because I think it's interesting.
The people who are complaining, there you go. They are already irritated. They're irritated by us even talking about it.
They're slightly irritated.
Yes. Thanks for opening my eyes to the pod speeding side effects. My pod fasting or pod speeding use case was this. I try to listen to the show live on Podverse on Thursday and Sunday evening here in Germany. But my wife wouldn't let me listen to the whole show, so the next morning I would 1.25 it to re-listen to the bits I heard live and catch up on missed out sections. This, of course, meant that I'm really fidgety on Fridays and Mondays, and now I know why and will not do it again. How about that? And this final one from Sir Scovey, Earl of the Piedmont. The discussion about audio playback speed has given me much to contemplate about my blind parents. My dad lost his eyesight entirely when he was 12. In his adult life, he listened to thousands of hours of audiobooks, most of which he checked out for free from the National Library for the Blind. At the time, the NLB provided cassette players with playback speed control. In later years, he listened to digital audiobooks. Regardless of the format, my dad routinely listened to audiobooks and eventually podcasts on playback much greater than 1x speed. My dad died in 2019. He was diagnosed with frontal temporal lobe dementia just days prior to his death. He struggled often with anxiety and depression in his later years. Now, my mom has been blind since birth. She was a medical transcriptionist for nearly 50 years. For decades, her words per minute was 120 plus, and she often listened to dictation at speeds much greater than 1x. For the last 2 years, my siblings and I have observed what we fear are signs of decline in her cognitive ability. Your point about resonance makes me wonder if long-term exposure to unnatural resonance can be a factor in cognitive decline. I've consumed a lot of podcasts and audiobooks in recent years. Other producers have noted playback speed was based on the presenters or narrators, and I agree. Some have slow cadence. I never listen to NA at speeds greater than 1.0. Normal rate is perfect, in fact, off-putting me to higher playback speeds. But I think that maybe we've struck something here about depression and anxiety. We could be saving lives with this, John.
Well, I'm going to give it to you. You're the one doing it. But I'm interested in this. This is fascinating.
We need some
medical advice. And I think it's probably, there's got to be something to it, because if you start listening to everything at 1.5, or I don't know, could you listen at 2?
Oh, some people do, sure.
I think you could if you had the right pitch kind of a thing that was accounting for pitch. So just
that works. No, the pitch control is built into these systems. It's like it rarely changes the pitch. They chop out silences.
So you sound normal, but you're talking real fast.
Well, you're talking really fast like this.
Yeah, but clear.
The problem is not listening to the podcast. The problem is the rest of the world. That's the problem. You can get depressed if everyone's slow and not moving at your speed, and you can get jittery and anxious. Yes.
You should probably be listening to the podcast at 0.8.
No.
Now, I did get some notes from people saying they listen at half speed, and we both bold. Sound like a couple of drunks.
That's bold. People are just making fun of us by saying no one listens at a lower speed. I don't even know why they put lower speed in it, except for Ben Shapiro,
what is
maybe.
The point?
Ben Shapiro, maybe.
Yeah, Shapiro. There's a couple other people.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm only doing this. I've given up on our art of creating beautiful programming. Given up on that. Oh, by the way, we've been accused of being wrong at least 20 times. You want to go through this? Because this guy gives 3 examples and a couple of yours.
So we have a mea culpa? We have to apologize for being error?
Maybe not. This is from Black Metal Cowboy. He says, over the last several weeks of episodes, I've never heard from this guy before. I've noticed instances in which you and John...
We've been getting weird notes from people that don't show up in the database.
Exactly. I've noted instances in which you and John have made factually incorrect claims. I do not believe you are doing so purposefully to mislead your producers. You just don't know you're wrong.
Okay.
The danger comes. The danger. Your producers hold you in such high value, they believe what you speak is factually correct by default. This confirmation bias leads them to blindly appeal to your authority and propagate all of what you have said is factual. Below, I have included 3 of the approximately 20 instances I have noted over the last 15 episodes. I am not an expert in any of these subjects. As a mechanical engineer with over 20 years of experience in the aerospace and defense industry, whose role is currently evaluating and investigating design failures, but critical thinking research is still critical thinking and research regardless of the subject. Okay. So he feels it is his duty to apply the same standards to the No Agenda show.
I'd like to get the list of all 20 items.
He's approximately 20. He only has 3. And he starts off, John offers his belief that vasectomies change the appearance and mannerisms of men, likening them to, quote, old lesbians. He further claims this change is so profound, he can pick out men with vasectomies from a crowd. He also claimed vasectomy reversals are almost never successful. This claim is incorrect. Hold on.
Now the claim, so what he's doing here, let's dissect this approach.
Yes.
Is to bring up all my opinions, which have been verified by more than a few people. And in fact, it comes from the books that were written about this in the mid-20s, 1920s, where vasectomies were considered a way of making yourself look more youthful. And he's taken that and then conflated it with what he thinks is just a wrong opinion that vasectomies can't be reversed.
I'm going to help you on this. Let's read on. Roughly 500,000 men undergo vasectomies in the U.S. each year. Would have been nice if he included a source to this.
By the way, stop. I'm sorry to pull a carrot on you here.
But go ahead.
The guy writing in has had a vasectomy.
Absolutely. That's why it's number 1. No doubt about it. But I think he reads Wikipedia. Anyway, roughly 500,000 men undergo vasectomies in the U.S. each year. Roughly 6% will decide to undergo a reversal. According to Stanford Medicine, no link, 90% of those procedures are effective. Even if one were to debate the definition of effective, it is still you'll love this. It is still a far cry from John's quote, almost never. Okay, since you put that in quotes, Black Metal Cowboy, we do have a transcript tool, which thank you very much, Stephen B. Transcript tool where I can search our transcripts going back about 3 years, and here is exactly what John said, which you quoted him as saying, almost never effective. So now he's got to reverse this.
Which rarely works.
Well, he doesn't, rarely works is the quote, my friend. Not almost never. Rarely works.
Yeah, if you're going to be this kind of picky guy.
Exactly. By the way, I'm going to use this against you all the time, too, because it's really fast. Regarding vasectomies changing...
But you won't get very far.
Hold on. Did you also say old lesbians? I don't know if you said old lesbians. No,
I think so.
No, you didn't say old lesbians. You did not. No.
Well, I think I've said old.
Hold on.
Okay.
The exact opposite is true. Listen to this.
Noticing that these guys started to have a youthful look as they got older. They started looking like young lesbians. But
young lesbians, not old lesbians.
Okay, you got me. That's one for you and none for me.
Study after study, most of which are infuriatingly paywalled, has shown there is no change in hormone levels of men who undergo vasectomies. There are studies that show emotional changes resulting from vasectomies, i.e. feeling less masculine, but those emotions are purely psychological and revert over time. Studies aside, by what mechanics would a vasectomy invoke these changes John speaks of? Well, you've got everything wrong so far. All a vasectomy does is prevent sperm from entering the semen. The testes still produce the same hormones and release them. This guy is snipped. I agree with you there. So, your response, other than he got all of your quotes wrong?
Besides getting all my quotes wrong, including young lesbians? Okay. I don't care. I'm just telling you what I think. I have been able to spot these. Other people have too.
Exactly.
And it's been documented in a number of books in the 20s when this was a very popular procedure.
And it was done specifically to give people a young look, correct?
Yeah. It had it specifically to give people a youthful appearance.
The second one is about me. Adam points out. I love doing this. Adam points out earthquakes are no longer measured using the Richter scale and implies something nefarious is at foot, or at least this is incompetence in reporting of earthquakes. I am not a seismologist, but the answer was easy to find. In fact, Wikipedia has a well-notated and highly detailed overview on the subject. And then he goes into the change that was made to the Richter scale. And all I said was they used the momentum scale, and that was changed to make the numbers much bigger than the Richter scale, which is used in mainstream media to make things sound often much worse than they are. When it comes to nefarious things being at foot, that is regarding the earthquake machine, as the Secretary of Defense in 1987, I'm going to say, Richard Cohen, specifically said, we and other countries have earthquake technology to evoke earthquakes. So there's no debunking on that. But maybe in this one particular case, I didn't delve into the momentum scale versus the Richter scale. So you should, probably listen a little bit more before you jump. Now, the third one is my favorite. And this is not even you, it's about your wife, which just gets me mad. He blames you, but it's from Mimi. John claims eggs should never be salted before cooking because the salt makes them tough. Is that what you said? Is that what you said? It makes them tough?
This is Mimi's thing. I've said it, but I'm always referring to her. She's the egg expert. She wrote a 700-page book, TooManyEggs.com. It's available for free on a PDF. Just sign up for it. And she is the expert on eggs, and she said this, and other people have written in since I mentioned it on the show, then they all said the same thing. The eggs taste better this way.
No, he says they're tough. That you said they were tough. Did you actually?
That's what Mimi said. Mimi said it makes them tough. And there are other, I think Gordon Ramsay also subscribes to this thesis.
This belief is found in many cookbooks and propagated by many famous chefs. In addition to making them tough, they say salting eggs before cooking will turn them gray. Others make a contradictory claim that salt will make them turn watery. However, numerous recent experiments, no link provided, have shown it to be incorrect. Salt does not impact color or texture regardless of how far ahead of cooking salt was added. Cooking method and temperature are the drivers of texture and color. In fact, John's claim doesn't even match with how the chemistry works. The egg proteins are mostly negatively charged, which keeps them apart until high heat is applied. The salt dissolves into positive and negative ions, which neutralize the charge of the proteins, allowing them to coagulate at lower temperature, producing a more tender scrambled egg. Dude, this is the kind of stuff that just drives me nuts.
I love it.
It drives me nuts.
I wish this guy would take that egg commentary with links.
Yes.
And then help and post it on the egg blog that's floating around somewhere that
blog.
we have.
Oh, egg blog. Nice.
Egg blog. And just post it. It'd be great. We'd use it.
Yeah. All right. Now that we've been proven to be factually...
I'd like to know what the other 17 items are.
If they're all of this severity, people should stop listening.
They suck. By the way, let me just say this.
This is not that important. The Black Metal Cowboy.
Hey, Black Metal Cowboy, you suck. These is not even close to being something worth complaining about.
I agree. If you really want to complain about something, do what Russell Brand did. Did you see Russell Brand?
Russell Brand.
Did you see Russell Brand? Now, let's just set, and I want to play this clip because it's just
Is this the one with Heilman?
Yes.
Oh, Heilman couldn't get a word in edge. Heilman's a doofus compared to Russell. Russell Brand is really sharp.
You know Heilman.
Yeah, I know Heilman.
Would you say in the past you might even have considered each other acquaintances or friends?
I would say acquaintances for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I never been to the rule is, and for anyone out there who wants to know, friend, acquaintance, whatever. Nobody's your friend unless you've been to their house for lunch or dinner, or they've been to your house for lunch or dinner.
Now, I would say I've been to your house once for dinner. I don't think we're friends.
No, okay. It's not an exclusive thing. I'm saying that if you say someone's your friend and you don't have that qualifier in there that you've been to their house or they've been to your house for lunch or dinner, then they are definitely not your friend. Yes, I've been to plenty of people's houses for lunch and dinner or whatever, and I don't consider them my friends. They're acquaintances or somebody I might not even like them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's different.
Exactly. So... John Heilman, who I think he does mainly reports. He does opinion. I think for Morning Joe. Certainly, he's a part of the Morning Joe team. Although I think a lot of times he's on remote. He's not always in the studio, but he also I think appears in other shows. But he's always very opinionated, and he's part of. And this is the context of what happened here. It was a fantastic segment. The context is that MSNBC, CNN, but also anything, every news organization, cable network or otherwise, has been trying to discredit Fox News by saying they're such liars. They didn't even believe the January 6th election stolen conspiracy. What they said they did on Fox News, but privately they all said, they don't believe it. And this has just been ongoing.
Which we've been debunking for a while.
Yeah, which is just, it's annoying when you're making each other the news story is what you're doing. And you're discrediting the entire news business. And it took Russell Brand, and I appreciate this, and part of it is because of his accent, the words he uses, his incredible command of language, and something that I didn't like, but I think it's effective. He touches Heilman all the time, grabs his arm.
Yeah, he does it. I'm not sure what technique of persuasion that is?
It's dangerous because I would say, get your hands off of me, you limey bitch. That's what Heilemann should have said.
I think he would know that in advance.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, because he was also calling him darling, and he would touch his arm, which, like, that's really aggressive.
He was sitting, to back this up, this is from the Bill Maher show just this last Friday.
Yeah.
And they had Russell Brand on, and Russell Brand took over the show. I mean, he's one of those guys he'd be hard to work with because he's a mic hog, but he's really good at it. And
he is very good at it.
Yeah. And so he'd be tough. He'd be one of those guys you don't want to work with because he's going to dominate his ability to handle Seymour Hersh
was phenomenal.
Was one indicator.
Good. Yeah, very good. Very, very good.
He is a natural at this. And I have to say, he's feeling his oats. And when he sees somebody that's weak, and Heilemann is not, Heilemann's a writer who doesn't, he doesn't have the kind of broadcasting chops or performance chops that a guy like Russell Brand has.
Yeah.
And Russell Brand may actually be boosted on something too, for all I know. Although I don't see him going to his nose.
I think he's clean. I mean, he
probably is clean.
He was on heroin for a while there. He's clean.
But he sees a weak guy, and he just steamrolls him. He steamrolled him.
He did. It's a 3-minute clip, but it's well worth it.
John, I've not known you long, but I love you already. But I have to say that it's...
Actually, I think he's a master NLP guy or persuader. Saying stuff like that right off the bat, I don't know who you are, but I love you already. These are very powerful things he's doing. Brand has chops in this.
John, I've not known you long, but I love you already. But I have to say that it's disingenuous to claim that the biases that are exhibited on Fox News are any different from the biases exhibited on MSNBC. It's difficult to suggest that these corporations operate as anything other than mouthpieces for their affiliate owners in BlackRock and Vanguard. And unless we start to embrace, and also, mate, just spiritually, if I may use that word in your great country, we have to take responsibility for our own perspectives. I've been on that MSNBC, mate. It was propagandist nutcrackery on there. I went on a show called Morning Joe. Yeah. It was absurd the way they carried on.
Morning Joe. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It wasn't morning. There was no one called Joe there. No one could concentrate. They didn't understand the basic tenets of journalism. No one was willing to stick up for genuine American heroes.
And listen to the audience, by the way. The audience, who you would presume would be mostly leftists at the Bill Maher show, they're applauding for a lot of things that if any other right of center person said would be whoa.
Like Edward Snowden. No one was willing to talk about Julian Assange and what he's suffered trying to bring real journalism to the American people. And I think to sit within the castle of MSNBC throwing rocks at Fox News is ludicrous. Make MSNBC better. Make MSNBC great again.
My friend, I would.
And that landed. That landed that joke.
One more thing you should note, because we don't have visuals here. Heilemann is trying as hard as he can
not to cry.
Stop him.
Not to cry. Yeah, but he's leaning way back. He's like, and he's trying to get a word in edgewise. You can't do that with a guy like Brand. You got to just sit there and let him finish. But he kept.
And then you have to prepare a zinger at the end. Yeah, it's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, which you do calm and collected. Exactly.
My friend, I would. The moment
them on a territory you can win on, Joe.
Russell Darling.
See, that's the mistake. That's a mistake when Heilemann goes, Russell Darling. He's trying to mirror him.
He's trying to play Russell's game.
Yeah, bad idea, Heilemann. Get back to writing.
It's always a bad idea to do that.
Get back to writing, bro. This is not your territory. It's not your battlefield.
So, Russell Darling, the moment that you give me a specific example, an actual example.
Okay, I'll give you one.
Wait.
Brand was prepared for this. You could tell.
We need a specific example.
Let me tell you what the specific example. Europe. I'd like to hear a specific example, a provable specific example of an MSNBC correspondent or anchor being on television saying something they knew was false and were saying behind the scenes to people, I'm about to go out and we know that the election wasn't stolen or something equivalent. But I will go out on television and say the opposite. I will lie.
When's my answer?
Just give me the specific example.
I understand the basic point.
Give me a specific example.
All right.
I'm with you. I think it's a false equivalency, Russell.
And there's Bill Maher, who I don't know why he said, I think it's a false equivalency. So what Bill Maher is saying is that MSNBC never does that. They never, and the stuff about Julian Assange, well, of course, that's not what Russell Brand meant. That wasn't the equivalency. He's saying that MSNBC also has propaganda. That's what he said. And Bill Maher is like, why? He should have stayed out of it. That made Bill Maher.
I agree.
That made him look dumb. This was a moment to sit back and just enjoy the ratings.
But I will go out on television and say the opposite. I will lie.
When's my answer?
Just give me the specific example.
I understand the basic point.
Give me a specific example.
All right.
I'm with you. I think it's a false equivalency, Russell.
It's not. That's your own biases.
It's not about bias. It's a false equivalency because you don't actually know anything about any of these organizations you're talking about. Even on MSNBC once, big fucking deal.
My darling, it was more than enough.
Ooh. Now he shows he's mad by saying big fucking deal. Hyman's sinking. He's drowning here.
He's also talking faster than he normally does.
Yeah, he's drowning.
It's not about bias. It's a false equivalency because you don't actually know anything about any of these organizations you're talking about. Even on MSNBC once, big fucking deal.
My darling, it was more than enough.
You can't come up with such a carry. You have a single actual fact.
Do you want an example?
Yes.
The ludicrous, outrageous criticisms of Joe Rogan around ivermectin, deliberately referring to it as a horse medicine when they know it's an effective medicine.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Rachel
example.
Maddow turning up on the TV saying, if you take this vaccine, you're not going to get it, when it hadn't been clinically trialed for transmission.
What does he mean by non-responsive? What is that? What is he trying to say there? He says non-responsive.
Heilman was saying non-responsive?
Yeah. What is he trying to say there?
He's not... I don't know, because it doesn't make any sense. He's very responsive.
Yeah, I didn't understand exactly what he was saying.
I think he was shorted out by then.
All right.
Turning up on the TV saying, if you take this vaccine, you're not going to get it, when it hadn't been clinically trialed for transmission. You have to listen.
Wait,
do you think you can improve America by determinedly and avowedly condemning Fox News without acknowledging that you're participating in the same game? Did you not just listen to Bernie Sanders, someone who plainly, legitimately believes in this country and believes it's possible to change, but is bound by corruption, is bound by the lobbying system? Surely it's clear to you, Bill, as one of the great pundits and experts and comic voices, that systemic change is required. Money has to be taken out of politics. We need new political systems that genuinely represent ordinary Americans so that we can overcome cultural differences. And bickering about which propagandist network is the worst is not going to save a single American life, not improve the life of a single American child, not going to improve America's standing in the world, and the world needs a strong America. I'll tell you that.
Oh, man. Oh, props to Russell Brand. That was dynamite. That was
pretty
really,
funny.
really good. Really good. I really enjoyed that. Phenomenal. Okay. Let's do.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I've run into these guys in public speaking arenas or in debates.
Russell Brand?
No, into these guys, this type of person.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
A type of person who you can't beat in an argument or a situation where in a debate situation, and they'll just you can't do it. And I think Shapiro is kind of like that in a debate.
Oh, without a doubt.
And so what you do is you never get into this with them, ever.
And the funny thing is that this debate that they're having is not the actual debate. This whole noise, and that's kind of too bad, is Dominion voting machines, Dominion systems, they are suing Fox News for defamation. And this is all coming out of Discovery, the text messages. But what it's obfuscating is the fact that Dominion themselves said our systems are shit. You can get wrong results. It's easy to hack into. They're no good. That's also in the Discovery. All of this is obfuscating that. That's the sad part of it. That's the sad part. But anyway, it was fun entertainment. We like bread and games. That's who we are as a people. Before we take our break, I'd like to delve into CPAC. I think you have some clips. I'll set you up.
Tonight, the race to...
Sorry. I'll just set you up. Hold on.
Tonight, the race to 2024 intensifying as former President Trump makes his case for the Republican presidential nomination.
We're going to complete the mission. We're going to see this battle through to ultimate victory.
Trump taking center stage at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference, a once must-attend event for GOP stars, now dominated by his supporters.
We believe in Donald Trump! We believe in Donald Trump!
It is very Trump-centered around here.
It's not Trump 2024, it's Trump forever.
Former South Carolina governor turned candidate Nikki Haley heckled by the crowd.
Trump 2024! Trump 2024!
Other possible GOP hopefuls like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former Vice President Mike Pence skipping CPAC, highlighting the divide over the party's future.
We are over here tearing each other apart.
And tonight, as President Biden mulls his re-election bid, he now faces a Democratic challenger. Self-help author Marianne Williamson launching another long-shot campaign, speaking exclusively to ABC's Jonathan Karl.
The Democratic Party needs to be a conduit for the healing of this country. But first, the Democratic Party needs to look in the mirror and heal itself.
Now, she wasn't at CPAC, was she? Why'd they bring her in?
Oh, just a throwaway. What channel was this?
ABC.
I have no idea.
Weird,
just
though.
The entertainment value. I have no idea. ABC, Disney, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have mine reports are from NPR, and they're not that much different. They're not dissimilar. But they do have a little more details about one thing or another, even though they produced this before the Trump speech, which we can talk about. CPAC 1.
CPAC is often, let me put it this way, a chorus line for Republican candidates where, they audition before politically active young conservatives who might want to work in their political campaigns. Has that been the case this year, though?
That's a really good way to put it, because it generally is something of a chorus line of Republicans who are kind of coming in, trying to play to the sort of thousands of conservatives, usually young activists who get together there. Part of the conservative movement, really a weather vane for the conservative movement, is what CPAC winds up being. But this time around, really not many of those potential presidential candidates showed up. We did hear from a couple of them. Nikki Haley was one. She's the former South Carolina governor who worked as UN ambassador in the Trump administration. Here's some of what she had to say. She really tried to appeal to the right wing of the party.
Wokeness is a virus more dangerous than any pandemic, hands down. I have traveled the world and back, and I've seen what's out there. America isn't perfect, but the principles at the heart of America are perfect. And take it from me, the first minority female governor in history, America is not a racist country.
And there's a lot in that, obviously. And you can tell there she's kind of trying to walk this line. She's throwing red meat to the base, hoping to win them over. But Donald Trump really has a real stronghold on a lot of that base. She really needs to win over white-collar Republicans, who are the ones who are mostly saying that they want an alternative to Trump.
I find Nikki Haley an interesting entrant into this because she's literally using DeSantis's line. DeSantis is the anti-woke guy. That's all he talks about. He's the anti-woke guy. Why would she jump? And by the way, her voice, oh man.
Grates.
It really does.
And Zippy thinks it sucks.
No, it's just, oh.
It grates.
Yeah, grates.
She hasn't got any charisma.
Zero charisma. She's right.
No charisma. Grating voice.
Yeah.
Not particularly attractive.
Yeah.
I'm sure she is to some people, but she's not particularly attractive. She's not like, somebody you want to really look at. And to be honest about it. And nothing. She's kind of a hawk. She's a little bit of a neocon.
Yeah.
And I never thought she was that supportive of Trump when she was when she'd been hired by him.
No, she wasn't. Well, she's been threatening for we've been hearing of her running for a long time.
And she thinks that she's got the chops to run for president. She thinks that if somebody wants her for president, she's not going to get. She's like Kamala Harris.
How about this? Could she be a trial balloon for DeSantis? Trying
for vice presidency?
No. A trial, because DeSantis didn't speak at this. A trial balloon to see what sticks, what works, so that DeSantis can hone his message. Just a thought.
No. DeSantis is so heads and shoulders above her that I don't think he has anything to do with it.
Okay. All right.
Let's go to part 2.
Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State, also spoke. He has been going through all the expected motions of someone who's considering becoming a candidate. Did he try to distance himself at all from Donald Trump?
Yeah, and I was really listening to see what kind of line he was going to draw because it hasn't been clear how he was going to distinguish himself. But he did try to make something of an electability argument. And let's take a listen to that.
We lost 3 elections in a row and the popular vote in 7 of the last 8. There are many reasons for this, but one of them is I think they've lost trust in the conservative ideas. And this is the task that's in front of us. And I am convinced we can do it because we're right.
You know, Pompeo really took what was kind of an oblique shot at Trump, but kind of veiled, really. You know, he talked about himself having been a Sunday school teacher and that the country needs that kind of character. But his speech wasn't exactly a barn burner. Neither was Nikki Haley's, really. And they spoke both in front of kind of half-empty audiences and really got just lukewarm receptions at best.
Domenico, you've covered CPAC for almost 2 decades. And I wonder what this year's confab tells you about the state of the conservative movement in America right now.
Yeah, you know, it's really fractured. You know, CPAC is usually, an event that tells you where the movement is headed. And it seems more like it's still something more like TPAC, a Trump political action conference, because it really just highlighted that. Even Haley was sort of sandwiched between 2 Trumps. You know, Donald Trump Jr. went before her. Lara Trump, former President Trump's daughter-in-law, went afterward. So, you know, the bigger news here this weekend almost was that the people who didn't show up, we're talking about Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, Tim Scott, the South Carolina senator, and Trump's former vice president, Mike Pence, who all opted to go to a donor retreat in Florida hosted by the Club for Growth, which is an anti-tax group that's been involved in Republican politics for a long time. And they're saying that they want to really support somebody other than Trump. And these candidates really need the kind of money that comes along with that. But because Trump has such a strong hold on the party infrastructure in a potentially crowded field, he still looks like the man to beat.
You know what's missing from these reports? A single soundbite from Trump.
They did this report before Trump spoke. He spoke at the very end. And the report that you played did have the sound bites from Trump.
Yeah, but not this sound bite.
Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It will be settled quickly. I will get the problem solved, and I will get it solved in rapid order, and it will take me no longer than 1 day. I know exactly what to say to each of them. I got along very well with them. I got along very well with Putin, even though I'm the one that ended his pipeline. Remember, they said, Trump is giving a lot to Russia. Really? Putin actually said to me, if you're my friend, I'd hate like hell to see you as my enemy.
Now, what's interesting there is he slipped in that I was the one that ended the pipeline. How about that?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, he's talking about Nord Stream.
Yeah, that's well, obviously.
I'm the one that ended the pipeline. Okay. And I can
that means again.
I can fix it before I come into the Oval Office. Is that before you're elected? Or can you do it tomorrow? I mean, I think that if he, how about this for a super gambit? He goes on a press tour, stands there with Putin, and Putin says, yeah, you know what? I talked to Don, and we're gonna stop this thing now. Would that make Trump popular?
Yeah. But with Trump, if Trump could, the problem is the Logan Act or one of these things where you can't do foreign diplomacy if you're a citizen, even though everybody does it.
Yeah. Can you do it as a former president?
Well, I mean, they all done it.
I'm Trump. I'm putting the Don in the Don boss, everybody. I can just see it. There is one surprise entrant coming in the 2024 election, supposedly. I'm excited about this guy.
It's been a long time since the Kennedy name was associated with a long-shot outsider presidential campaign, but those days could be making a comeback. On Friday, Robert Kennedy Jr., speaking at St. Anselm College, was asked if he's considering a run for the White House in 2024.
I'm thinking about it. As always. I'm past the biggest hurdle, which is that my wife has green-lighted it. And
how about that?
I'd vote for him.
I'd vote for him, too. I can't see. Now, I'm sure he would run Democrat, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm an independent, or non-affiliate.
Yes.
I could vote for anybody.
I am politically homeless. I don't have to vote for anybody either.
But I like him. They'd ruin him in somewhere, shoot him. It's hard to say what they do.
The family does have a bad experience with running for office and being
shoot him.
That's just
so.
That's really dark, Dvorak.
Anyway, back to Trump. I listened to his speech, which was long.
Yeah.
And he had a lot, and he also won the straw poll, which I thought was interesting because that's the last time. It's the thing that Ron Paul used to always win in the old days. And
right.
I thought it was pretty good. He had some new stuff. He had this new bit he had a new bit he does, the April Fool's bit. He goes on and starts with, it's an April Fool's joke, and then he cites all the blunders and foul-ups.
Oh.
He says, it needed a little work because it was the first time I've heard this, but it was staged. It was okay.
Mm-hmm.
His points are he really hits home with everything that a lot of these guys just can't seem to come to grips with.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the issues he says we got to fix,
mm-hmm.
but he's at the same time we've already seen him. He's kind of full of crap. I've not been a fan since he refused to pardon Snowden and Assange in particular.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that. He should have done it, and unless he had a gun to his head, and if he's got a gun to his head, then hell, we can just vote anybody in there because they all have a gun to their head.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it should be fun. I mean, we'll probably make it with the show through the 2024 election. I don't know if we can do it again. That'll be the fourth election you and I have been through together.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah, we should probably call it quits at 4. I mean, goodness gracious, maybe. Goodness gracious.
We get the egg book selling first.
Hey, I don't have a piece of that action, man. I got to get an exit strategy together. I'm going to be the anti-egg guy.
We got the value for value book. We're going to do the same thing. You get a piece of that. You get half of it.
Yeah. Well, now you've seen the numbers.
And we also have the primer, the No Agenda ABCs or whatever it is. That book, which has been stalling on forever.
I think we need to do consultancy.
We actually could if we could get some business.
Can we consult
podcasts? We're too good. That's the problem.
Yeah. Or, with all our knowledge, I could run in 2028. You could be my political advisor.
I think you should do run for Texas governor.
Oh, good. That would be a fun gig. That would be cool. Yeah. When is that?
You'd have to move back to Austin, but you get in the governor's mansion.
I'm not going to move back to the governor's mansion. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's cordoned off.
And Tina would just wear big, sexy cowboy hats all day.
Yeah.
First lady of Texas. Mm-hmm.
And then you shoot a gun in the air. That's the one thing I'm always expecting the governor of Texas to do once in a while. And then shoot a gun in the air.
I think Texas governor is a powerful position. That could be a lot of fun. It could be a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, maybe that then. Maybe we'll have to see when Abbott is out. Didn't we just? No, he has another 5 years. How many more years do you get?
No, I think it's 4 to crack. I don't think it's 6.
Yeah, I hope not. Anyway,
that's only U.S. Senate.
And with that, as we discuss our exit strategy, I'd like to say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in the CPAC confab. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to my friend on the other end, Mr. John C. Dvorak, Lieutenant Governor of Texas.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Crane. In the morning, ship sea, boots at the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and nights out there.
In the morning to the trolls in the troll room. How you doing, trolls? Good to see you all there. They've actually handed me a couple of one-liners. I appreciate it. Good job there, trolls. The trolls are in the troll room, which you can join at surprise trollroom.io. Right there, you can hop in the chat. You can listen to the stream live. We recommend getting one of the modern podcast apps at podcastapps.com. Podverse, Podcast Addict, those are the ones that will give you an alert when the bat signal is sent when we start the show. Actually, with the pre-stream, where you can hear all kinds of stuff going on before we hit record. And you can get those again at podcastapps.com. Now, let's see how many trolls are joining us today. Let me get the
troll count.
Troll count going here. Okay. Second, the counting machine is counting. 2199, so just shy of 2200. How do we rate that on the scale?
That's about right.
It's okay? Oh, that's about right. Well, you're about right today, trolls. And if you don't want to do anything live, or if you are hindered, you can always check out the conversations over there at noagendasocial.com. Thank you to Aaroner, who is still running the show. He had he runs that out of his basement, which is highly appreciated. It's a full-time gig babying a huge Mastodon instance like ours. Power go out, the UPSs ran down, and he had to wait until that came back up. There was just no other way to do it. He keeps refusing value for value. Everyone keeps saying, "Hey, if we can solve some things, we'll throw some money at it," but he refuses that. He's
a good guy.
He's a great guy. That is a tremendous amount of value he is providing back to. I personally offered value to him. In many ways. And he just, no. And it's, if I run into trouble, I'll let you know. So far, so good. We also get tremendous value from our artists. Every single show, while we're doing the show live, there are artists listening, and you can follow that at noagendaartgenerator.com. You can refresh it in real time. The artists are creating artwork for a topic or something they think is appropriate, that relates to what we discussed in the episode. And it also is a great way for the show to get attention. When we change this artwork, people are always like, wow, what is this? Oh, it's No Agenda, of course. And Dame Kenny Ben had just a powerful pop of a piece of art for episode 1534. We titled that The Chit. Which is a new sitcom coming this season on NBC, The Chit. This was the Zap. It had a brain, a silhouette of a head, and a zap, which is related to the intel agencies zapping each other with the Havana Syndrome weapon. It was without a doubt the font that she used. No,
it was a very pretty piece, and it had a nice kind of interesting shading, and it was simple and complicated. It was a nice piece. It was the best. I used the piece next to it for the newsletter because I just thought it was a good piece of art. But
that was the
Yellen in
a
space suit or something.
What that is it's a throwback to Invasion of Mars, the Invasion from Mars movie, which you hate.
Oh, that crummy movie. Yeah,
I love that movie.
It was terrible.
I love that. Why did you hate it?
That's I think that ruined the career of Tim Burton, that one movie.
He did quite okay after that, didn't he?
Well, he was on the upswing as being a superstar artsy-fartsy director that was going to always produce fascinating material after Batman. And then he did that Mars movie, and that was the end of it.
No, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. Well, we love the... We love the art from Dame Kenny Ben. What else were we looking at? There was a lot of Scott Adams jokes. No.
You like the Winnie the Pooh one over there.
I thought it was okay. I mean, it's not...
Yeah, Roger Roundy really liked that piece.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, if you look at the Mastodon, our instance of Mastodon, a lot of these artists come on there and they predict what we're going to pick.
Yeah. Yeah, which is always a mistake.
Never get it right, by the way. It's weird.
It's a mistake. It really is. Some TikTok stuff in there. some stylized pieces, amygdala therapy, cute. But just entertainment and enlightenment. Whoa, is that the mic falling out of the cradle?
No,
or is that you falling over?
What happened?
You just fall down?
No, it was the Scarlet hit the deck.
Oh, well, it's still working.
Hey, nail that shit down.
Zippy, be quiet. What else? No, that was it. Those are the ones that... Those are the high NA. Now again, be careful with a lot of detail, a lot of small little things. You really just can't see it when it's at 256
you had some
by
complaint
256.
about one specifically.
Okay.
I like it came from China. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff in there, but it was so hard to see. You can't even see the little faces.
Yeah, I think that's one of your complaints.
That would be the complaint. The complaint.
There was another one that I thought you bitched about. Similar.
I never bitch about anything. I discuss things with enormous respect. It was probably the Winnie the Pooh bear that was also too complicated. Just too much, too small. It doesn't matter.
Well, I like with the Winnie the Pooh bear, I think the bite hand break pot light blue against a kind of a cream background was not contrast. People got to consider contrast.
Yes, contrast is key. With this type of art, it's a very art can look great on the wall, look great on a hoodie. By the way, I'm wearing my No Agenda Appetite for Deconstruction hoodie. I love this thing. I know you don't like the skulls that of course are us. I love this hoodie. It is so cool. People look at it and say, "Oh man, Guns N' Roses." I said, "Look again. Whoa, is that you?" And that's me, baby. Oh, it's so cool. Who did that? It says Superstars. NoAgendaShop.com. No affiliation with No Agenda Show.
Actually, who did that? What artist?
That's a good question. I forget who did it.
You should know.
I should know. I feel bad. It should be signed somewhere. Someone in the troll room.
Nobody signs nothing.
Or anything for that matter. Someone in the troll room will know. It's a pullover hoodie, correct. NoAgendaShop.com. It is truly one of my favorite. It's even more. It rises above my Salem College alma mater hoodie, where I went to school for exactly 3 months. So that's a big piece of value we got from Dame Kenny Ben. Really appreciate that. You can contribute your time, talent, or treasure, and we love thanking our executive and associate executive producers. Mike Riley. It was a Mike Riley piece.
It was?
Yeah, and you hated it. I don't like skulls. That's exactly what you said. Everyone loved it.
Yeah, because it looks like a Grateful Dead, although and they stole it from the Grateful Dead, too, considering. Guns N' Roses.
Zo beter goed gejat dan slecht bedacht.
Yeah.
Which means it's better to steal something well than make something poorly. It loses something in the translation. Time to thank our executive producers and associate executive producers. People came in well today, and we appreciate that. Do you have the note from Sir Anonymous of Dogpatch and Lower Slobovia? Because
I do.
And Sir Anonymous of Dogpatch, truly anonymous. We have no idea who he is. Every single month he donates to the show. He always has a message which is sincere and heartfelt. He sends this in. Wow, man, you're making a lot of noise. He sends this in.
I'm trying to get this pop filter away from the mic.
Okay.
These things are annoying.
Yes, I would agree. And today, and it's always an amount which we do not comprehend. We're not sure how he comes up with these amounts. And today it is $2,151 in complete cash donation to the best podcast in the universe. Thank you so much, Sir Anonymous of Dogpatch. What is his note?
He says, your work plus all the producers offering insight and perspective, the openness and willingness of John and Adam to acknowledge errors, as we did earlier in today's show.
There you go. Although we burned the guy, but yeah, we acknowledge errors.
Fine.
Yeah, we acknowledge errors.
We acknowledged. And differences of opinion while continuing their outstanding collaboration and choosing to rely on their individual capacity to attract willing contributors for 15 years remains a positive influence for me and obviously the many producers that make this effort work. Thank you both, or thank you to both of you, and to all the producers that contribute so much to this show. No jingles, no karma, and he makes a point of saying this is for February.
Oh, right.
2151.
Seronimus, thank you so much. You know, when I hear him talk like that, I'm like, yeah, we should retire and write that value for value book. Once people understand what you can actually do, if you have some patience and are willing to follow the guidelines, you don't need advertising in your life. It's really appreciated. I love that. Now, check this out. Dreb Scott, who already contributes so much to the show by doing all of our chapter work for every single podcast, which means he listens to every single show, sets markers, finds images, usually from noagendaartgenerator.com, and then puts it into the feed so you can enjoy that in one of those brand new podcast apps, podcastapps.com. He comes in with a show number donation, which I have not seen a show number donation, I think, in quite a while, because we're up there, $1,535. He's from Oceanside, California, and says, hello, this is from Dreb Scott, Duke of the Southern California mega region. No jingles, no karma. It's a little bit longer than normal, but it's a show number donation. I'm happy to read it. Answering the call from JCD about newsletter response, please accept my humbly submitted show number donation of $1,535. Yes, we accept. Yesterday, Saturday, March 4th, was my birthday and marked the 6th year since my first donation after having been a juice pouch for several years. Yes, that's his personal word for douchebag. When I became a knight of the No Agenda Roundtable and I asked to be known as Sir Benonymous of the 1.5 playback, approximately 1 year later, I took the Adam Curry 1 times playback challenge. I slowed another life saved or created. I slowed all podcasts down, and it made a huge difference in my mental processing. Oh, check this out. I have severe ADHD, and I had erroneously thought that 1.5 speed was helping me focus better. Turned out that forcing me to slow down caused me to get better control of my ADHD, which, by the way, almost everybody in the universe has these days. Thank you, Crackpot and Buzzkill, for the 1.0 recommendation, as it has made a difference. To all those pod speeders out there, give it a shot. Try a 21-day 1.0 times challenge. This is Scott, man. Thank you. I would like to call out my next-door neighbor, the beer man, as a juice pouch. Douchebag. I need a juice pouch jingle. I hit him in the mouth about 2 years ago, and he has yet to donate. Thank you, ACD and JCD, for the best dang comedy and media deconstruction podcast in the universe. Thanks for tolerating my lengthy donation note. Dreb Scott, Duke of the Southern California mega region. No, I'm very happy to read that. Thank you for taking the challenge, and we are happy that we have another life saved or created. Thank you, Dreb.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great.
I should mention the newsletter. I think it came on March 1st. This is when, because the newsletter it was weird.
It was very weird what happened there.
So I sent out another note in plain text. And I think this is every March 1st, and it happens pretty much every quarter. And I think it's Google changing their algos for sorting.
I know exactly why. Remember, the accusation is Google changes the algorithm whenever it's time for the Republicans to send out newsletters, and CPAC would have been the reason. In fact, if you had CPAC in the newsletter, which you might have, but they always shadow ban and start to bring down Republican stuff around a Republican event. How about that?
I like it, because I did get more than one response from somebody saying, I didn't get the newsletter, I looked all over. I mean, so in other words, it wasn't, some people got blocked completely, and they did have a Google account. And I do have a note from somebody I want to read, though. This is kind of cute.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out that people who don't listen to the donation segment are losing out. They lose out on life-saving tips and SEO tips.
Okay, SEO tips.
Whatever.
Producer Laura sent this cute note in. She says, I was planning on giving this week, and my debit card was hacked, so I can't send my small donation through PayPal. I'm getting a new card by next Friday. So I should be able to catch up then. If you don't send these emails about donations, I wouldn't think about sending money your way. This is something to note for people out there doing podcasts.
Part of our book, another teaser from the Value for Value book coming in 2027.
If you don't send these emails about donations, I wouldn't think about sending money your way. I see it as a reminder that I need, and I don't know if I'm just recalling clearly, but when I clicked on the link in this email and it took me to the newsletter page, it seems I had a portion of the text missing. Anyway, she's complaining about something else. Yeah. I don't know what that was. That's some other issue. But, which is, I said this from the beginning, that these newsletters are, because people they don't spend their life thinking about the No Agenda show all day.
I do.
Well, besides you.
I know you don't even do that.
Katy in Texas, sorry. Or is it Katy, Texas? No, Katy, Texas. This is, I did what you did last time. Dame Becky.
There you go.
In Katy, Texas.
I was waiting.
720-151. I had to pick up the keyboard. Switcheroo.
Uh-oh.
Please credit 720.51 to Mike Kenny.
Oh.
And when I saw this name, I would never pronounce it Kenny. It would be Chinny.
Yeah, same. But she put a handy pronunciation guide right there in the notes.
Pronounced Kenny.
Unlike a lot of people who think it's hilarious to put a name in there that we know we're going to stumble and fumble over, they're just mean, those people.
Yeah, well, they're mostly Dutch. In celebration of his 72nd trip around the sun on March 8th, with this donation, he achieves knight status and will join me at the round table and shall be known as Sir Mike of the Great Katy Prairie. Katy, Texas, that is. He requests homemade limoncello, which reminds me, and a rare ribeye. No jingles, just lots of karma. Keep up the good work. We love you guys. Whatever happened to our Garland
Elise Garland
family?
She's up in
the Garlands.
I bet you they're still listening. We used to get salmon sent. And
I never got salmon.
Yeah, I think she sent us salmon once, and limoncello for sure.
Send this limoncello.
It was so good, her limoncello. I hope she's okay.
I haven't heard from them at all.
Congratulations, knight-to-be, Sir Mike. And do you watch TikTok more now that you are in the 70s? Is my question for you. And some karma for you, sir. I'll get you some R2-D2 karma.
You've got karma.
Dame Taylor is in Huntington, West Virginia, 633.41. Cool numbers today. Please accept this donation as, a switcheroo for the best man in the entire universe. And also smoking hot, I might add. I've been donating $33.33 for a while now, and this is the remainder to bring him to knighthood before we get married next month. I heard John's call via the newsletter and have been meaning to send this to both of you for a while, as you have blessed us with job karma and we'd like to return the favor. Thank you. This man deserves the world, and that includes a knighthood before we wed. Please knight him Data Man. Or should we say Data Man? What do you think? Data Man or Data Man? What do you think?
Well, I think Data Man.
Yeah, he's Data Man. Who's that man? That's Data Man.
Data Man, I think is kind of cool.
Data Man of the Rock Hard Greens. Okay. He will have Lone Star beer and salmorejo at the round table. No idea what that is, but I think I pronounced it right.
Huh?
To my love, thank you for making me laugh, keeping me safe, and making me a better person. I can't wait to marry you soon. Thank you, John and Adam. You are truly the best. Dame Taylor. Thank you so much. She didn't actually give us his name. Just Data Man.
Knight him Data. Oh, what his real name is?
Yeah. So we'll just credit this to Sir Data Man of the Hard Rock Greens. No problemo. Yeah. We'll do that for you. Yeah. All right. So it's cool.
Sir Don Francis is up next, and he's in Chandler, Arizona. 333.33. Gentlemen, I believe this is makes me a baronet. Thank you for doing the work. Can I get a boogity in honor of my smoking hot wife, Dame Stephanie, and some dog karma? Love is lit. Sir Don Francis, the Baronet of Chandler.
You've got karma.
You ask, we play. Sir Dillsaver or Sir Dillsaver, Springfield, Missouri, 333.33. Loving that executive producer forever credit donation number. Sir Dillsaver here. This 333.33 row of threes donation is to celebrate Sir Bradley Dillsaver's third birthday on Monday, March 6th. He is starting preschool Monday, so we could use some karma for him, his teachers, and classmates. What, is he a terror? Karma for him, his teachers, and the classmates. He's coming. Up to you if you want to mention the rest on the show, of course. Oh, here we go. Bradley is nonverbal autistic. He likes to listen to the No Agenda show with his dad and laughs each time he hears the karma jingle. All right, so this should be a great day. Monday, March 6th, starting preschool. You're going to have a great time, Sir Bradley Dillsaver. And for you, why don't we're going to give you a double up karma so you can laugh twice as much.
You've got
double up
karma.
Have fun. Let us know how it goes.
Ross Judica in Radanga, Australia. Sounds like someplace in the outback. ITM lads heard about the donation challenges, thought it's an opportune time to help out after 12 months of listening. Keeping on, no karma, just a great show from the land down under. Ross, it's Utica, so the I doesn't count. Utica and Wodonga.
Victoria. In Oz. All right, thank you. Oh, these are good. Forrest Dukes in Camas, Washington, 333.33. Gentlemen, thank you for what you do. While there are many aspects of the show that I enjoy, one of my favorites is the attention to language that you both practice. Your ability to highlight things both said and unsaid, to scrutinize loaded language, and to expose the verbal games played by many are refreshing and informative. In other words, words are cool and stuff, dudes. This belated donation is in response to episode 1527, in which you both rose another notch in my estimation by calling out Merriam-Webster for the hacks that they are. I do believe they are the worst of dictionary options. Keep up the great work. Forrest Dukes, a.k.a. Faux Diddley. Got it. Thank you very much.
That's interesting.
That is.
Beth Kellogg in Sumter, South Carolina. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
Beth Kellogg, it's been too long, she writes. Thanks for everything, ITM.
Oh, these are cool. Now people get really short here. I like this. Inaki Esperanza Eloriaga from Ciudad de Mexico in Mexico. 333.33. Just landing. Got the note, the weird newsletter failure email, and I'm here doing my part. The newsletters are the only emails I read through and enjoy. John, please don't nuke them. Will you?
Okay.
Yeah, please don't. People love them.
Baron at Large comes in. It's just old Baron at Large in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Thank you for all you do. 333. Baron at Large.
People really heard your call out, man. Anonymous in Cambridge, Massachusetts, 333. Heard you were low on donations. Hope this helps. Semper Supra. Thank you very much. This is great. I love this.
Adam X in Babylon, New York, 333. My name is Adam X. I started listening to you during COVID and have kept me sane. It's kept me sane through the insanity of what we now call reality. Cook me a McCricket burger with a side of microplastics. Thanks. Thanks from Long Island.
It's so nice to see so many people came in during COVID, particularly women. I like that Adam X came in, but a lot of mama bears showed up. And they're still hanging around. And believe me, when you've got the whole world looking up at stupid balloons, you still need your No Agenda show. Sir Hope Report in Pendleton, Indiana, 333. No jingles, no karma from Sir Hope Report. Thank you, and thank you.
Rebecca Waters is up from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and she makes it even shorter at $323. Keep it coming. Much love.
Aw, so nice. Sean Brown, Harriman, Utah. 321.65. I decided to cleanse the remains of the PayPal account. I want to get my wife Natalie de-douched. She manages our 4 human resources and does a spectacular job. Please de-douche and play a classic jingle of your choice. Your choice, John. Classic jingle.
I want to share a secret. See if you can find it.
Yes. This time I named it appropriately.
You've been de-douched.
Oh, there's no winning. We don't like to foster a competitive atmosphere, but we laugh a lot. Now everyone hug and share a secret.
No, you can't catch me 3 times on that. I'll fail twice, but the 3rd time I'll come back.
Sir Kevin McLaughlin's up.
Whoa. What is he doing up here?
He's up at $314.15.
Wow.
Locust, North Carolina. Early Pi Day donation. Oh, I forgot about Pi Day's coming.
Oh, 314, yes.
We miss it every year. Thank you, Kevin.
We've caught it. We've caught it several times. Not every
We've missed it most often. Early Pi Day donation response, although it's not a big success. Nobody cares. In response to the newsletter failure rate, Archduke of Luna, lover of America and boobs.
Oh, that guy's so cool, man. Next on the list, Catherine Boudreau in Carlisle, Massachusetts. Adam and John, I've only been listening for a short time, but I wish I'd found your show sooner. As my world shrinks because everyone around me has lost their mind, your show is a refuge for me. Thank you. Oh, Catherine, welcome. Yes, we are here to give you sanity for as much as we can, because we do laugh a lot. We laugh a lot. So
it's funny because you got me turned on to the idea of having a couple of fake accounts in some of these journalists' Mastodon instances.
Oh, yeah.
So I stumbled onto another couple of SFBay, some local thing with a bunch of local journalists.
A Mastodon thing?
Another Mastodon. And there's a bunch of other. And it's hilarious to the amount of insanity amongst these people who all quit Twitter.
You're right.
Because of Musk.
Yes, because of Musk. I would never buy a Tesla. In fact, I'm burning mine.
It's unbelievable how nutty these people are.
Yeah, I know.
Cody the Black Metal Cowboy.
Oh, there he is. He was our complainer. Well, all right.
He's the complainer, yeah.
Yeah, now that he donated, we love you.
He's the best.
We burned him, and he gave us money. Thank you, Cody, the Black Metal Cowboy.
Long Beach, California. Oh, he's living it up down there, Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a amusement park down there called the Pike, which had one of the greatest roller coasters in the West Coast in the world.
Oh, he's going to debunk you on that. He's going to tell you that was not the greatest roller coaster.
It's got to be after his time. He probably never got to go there. They tore it down. $248.16. He's got the right thing here. He says, no notes, no jingles, no karma.
So the guy is actually quite good. And we were wrong. We said these people who complain never donate. And there it is, bucking the trend. Cody, the Black Metal Cowboy. I appreciate that. That if I had known that, I would have gone softer on him. No, probably not. Thank you, ma'am. Sir Lucas in Federal Way, Washington. Bless you. 20202. A nice palindrome. Sir Lucas of the Lost Bit. A shot of baby making karma would be appreciated. Right. We've got a goat there.
You've got karma.
Since that was short, I'll take the next one. Brian Taylor in Katy, Texas. Wait a minute. We know the Taylors in Katy, Texas. I finally made associate producer, yes, $200.13, over halfway tonight. I got my smoking hot wife, Karen, pregnant the week after the Bastrop meetup. Whoa!
There you go. No agenda strikes again.
And we're available for all of your weddings and bar mitzvahs. Based on my spreadsheet calculations, this is. And I attribute it to the karma we got that weekend. Thanks, Leah Louise. His name is Logan. He's a male/boy, but we expect him to identify as Wolverine after Krav Maga training. Rolando Gonzalez, gave me the intro to you, and I was so starstruck, I probably sounded retarded, talking about how I found y'all on YouTube and have been a fan since Headbangers Ball. Anyways, it was great meeting you and Tina. I've been man overboard for a month or so, but I'm back now. I need all-purpose karma. Thank you for all you guys have done and do. Brian Taylor, thank you so much, and thank you for you could have named your kid after one of us. I mean, honestly, that would have been the proper thing to do. But at least admitting that we are responsible for your human resource is a really good feeling. Thank you so much.
You've got karma.
Garrett Hampton in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Fed up with the indoctrination of your kids? Let me read this like it should be an announcement. Fed up with the indoctrination of your kids, what they're getting at school? Join us for the Homegrown Generation Family Expo, a live, interactive, online homeschool conference starting tomorrow, Monday, March 6th. Mm-hmm. Sign up at homegrowngeneration.com.
All right. Good one. Zadok Brown the third, I think, in Makawao. Where we do the Macarena. $200, no note. So we'll give you. We'll give you a double up.
You've
karma.
got double up karma.
There you go.
And another no note from Todd Voss in Davenport, Iowa. Give him a double up, $200.
You've got double up karma.
And well, we're over the number for doing two separate segments.
I did notice that, but I think considering where
but
we
you
are,
like it.
I what the one long segment?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now listen to the content we had in this. It's not like it's there's no reason to listen to it. The content was good.
I'm not arguing with it. Let's do it. Ready? Yeah. We're going to go on part 2. Just the names and people who donate lesser 50 to 200.
Blast it, bro. Blast it.
Anonymous in Billings, Montana, 150. Joe Campagna in Ontario, California. It's a switcheroo for his sister Angela Cumbera's damehood. Sir Knight of the East Side, Maplewood, Minnesota nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And by the way, Joe Campagna was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gabriel Adams in Blackfoot, Idaho, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. Peter Regishnig. I hate this guy. This name is impossible. In Thornton, Colorado, 10289. He's going to have to send me a pronunciation. A gazetteer. Carrie Jackson in Watertown, Tennessee, 100. Sherelle Peterson in Auburn, California, 100. Eric Renaud in Sutton, Massachusetts, 100. Kevin McAtee in Centennial, Colorado, 100. Michael Kellner in Ripon, California, 100. He says, John, you're scamming us with your problem with the newsletter shtick.
I don't think so.
No, it's not. I'm very. Only if you're honest does it work. William Taylor in Higginsville, Missouri, 100. Shameless the Hillbilly Whisperer in Attica, Indiana, 100. A lot of hundreds here. John Robinet, 100. Paul Ham, 100 from West Palm Beach, Florida. And he needs a de-douching for his brother Steve.
You've been de-douched.
Craig Wax and his smoking hot wife, Rimrock, Arizona. David Pardon in Pensacola, Florida, 100. These are all hundreds. Thank you, John and Anna, for keeping us informed. Greg Hunter, Springfield, Missouri, 100. Now we drop down to Sir Kevin McLaughlin's back with... he's already an executive producer, so I guess he can't go much higher, but he had another 8008 to keep his streak going.
Wow.
Boobs. Matthew Bruner in Dale, Indiana, 8008. And I have to read this note. We don't normally read notes down here, but this one says, I see why Sir Kevin McLaughlin donates this amount. It feels good. Interesting.
Matthew
Stephen McLean in Chilliwack, BC, 7777. He needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
He needs to call out Christine as a douchebag. Douchebag. Darius Walker in Charleston, West Virginia. 7714. By the way, Steve was 7777. 7714. He needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Wayne Cartini in Torrington, Connecticut, 7421. Kate Smith in Leonardtown, Maryland, 6969. Brian Furley, 5510. Simon Belgrave in Highland, New York, 55. A de-douching is needed.
You've been de-douched.
Jason Benson, gunsmith. Gladewater, Texas. He needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
And he came with $53.33. Sir Chris Abraham, $53. He's got a birthday. He'll be 53.
Makes sense.
Michael Gates, $52.80. Jared Smith in Fort Wayne, Indiana, $51.99. Love you guys. Christopher Jones in Paris, Texas, $51.51. John Foley in Chicago Heights, $51.15. Teresa Statham in Plymouth, Minnesota, that's 51. The Boys at the Shack in Bolivar, New York, 50.33. Dame Knight in Edmonds, Washington, 50.15. Sir Michael in Snohomish, Washington, 50. Now, this will be all the $50 donors, name and location. Here we go. John Ferretti, Girard, Pennsylvania. James Neal in Spring, Texas. Monica Boyle in Brooklyn, New York. Colin Pettit in Fairfield, Iowa. Anna Drake in Whitestown, Indiana. Eric Adams, not the mayor, in Middlesex, Vermont. Does he need anything? No. Sir Jub of the Jiggly Bits in Elkton, Florida. Joseph Green in Stevenson Ranch, California. Eric Hoff in Edmonton, California. Edmonton, Canada. What am I saying? Edmonton, Canada. Carl Vogler in Dillon Beach, California. He needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Clendy Villar in Austin, Texas. First-time donor. Give him a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Good old Sir Matthew Januszewski in Chicago, 50. William Martin, Crandall, Texas. Michael Lebar in Williamstown, Michigan. Alex Zavala in Kyle, Texas. James Sharametta in Napanoch, New York. Villarreal. Lane Brown in Eugene, Oregon. Stephen Crummy in El Cajon. By the way, give Lane Brown a de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
He's going to a meetup.
Oh, yeah.
Taylor Elric in Phoenix, Arizona. Stephen Powers in Midlothian, Virginia. Kurt Patrick in Nanaimo, Canada. Victoria Island. Or Vancouver Island. Jason Mertz in Boise, Idaho. By the way, Kurt is an actual on-the-air personality at a Canadian TV station.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
News guy.
That news guy. Hey, news guy.
We'll get a clip from him eventually.
Yeah.
Jason Mertz in Boise, Idaho. Ryan Ebbison in Bellingham, Washington. David Swift in Riverside, Connecticut. And last on the list is Brett Farrell, who I believe is in Oklahoma City. And these people all made show 1535 a reality.
Yes.
In a big way.
A very big way. Thank you all so much. Thank you to everyone who came in under $50, typically for reasons of anonymity, but also a lot of people who, not enough, but a lot who are on sustaining donations. We lost a lot with the PayPal apocalypse. So if you'd like to consider coming back for that, we appreciate it. Go to our website for this.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And, of course, we thank all of our executive and associate executive producers who came in big time today, really saved the day, saved last month, actually. So we appreciate that. These are credits that are official. They're real. Anywhere credits are recognized, you can try, you can put them on LinkedIn. You can put them on your resume, but also IMDb. It's a perfect place for it. You can say, hey, you don't believe me? I'm a producer. I'm executive producer of an actual media property, go to imdb.com. They don't mess around. They kick you off if it's fake. And look at all the other heavy hitters who are there. So we appreciate all that you have done, and I'll give you all a goat karma. Thank you so much.
You've got karma.
So that and everyone else together, thank you for making 1535 a reality.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order! Order! Shut up, slave! Shut up, slave! It's your birthday.
And we got a nice list of birthdays as well. Dred Scott, as he came in with a show number donation, celebrated his birthday yesterday, March 1st. Today, my sister in Italy, Willow, turns 54, and on Friday, she gets her master's in psychology. Happy birthday, sis. Dave Clevenger turns 72 today as well. Sir Dillsaver wishes his son, Sir Bradley Dillsaver, a happy birthday, turning 3 on March 6th tomorrow. Sir Chris Abraham turning 53 on March 8th. Wanted to get in on time. Dim Becky wishes Mike Kenny a happy birthday, turned 72 on March 8th. Wow, we got another 72 birthday. And Lucien celebrates his or her birthday today, apparently. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe.
Title changes, turn and face the slave. Title changes, don't wanna be a douchebag.
One title change today. We've got Sir Don Francis. We heard him earlier. Sir Don Francis now becomes a baronet and changes his title to Sir Don Francis, Baronet of Chandler. And we thank him for his additional $1,000 donation to the best podcast in the universe. 2 nights to handle out today. Happy to do it.
Can I ask a question first?
Sure.
How old is Willow?
54.
So when were you? I met her when you were at the wedding.
Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
It was 19. May 19th, 2019.
So it was what, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago, 4 years ago?
Something like that.
She looked like she's 27 then. She can't possibly be this age.
She is definitely the baby of the family and clearly the smartest. Clearly the smart. Getting your master's at above 50, I think is pretty good.
Uh-huh.
And she's got a baby face. I know. It's irritating. Give me a blade.
Oh, here you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay, perfect. Mike Kenny and the guy known as Data Man. Could you all step up here on the podium? Thanks to either your direct or contributions on your behalf in $1,000 or more. I'm very proud to pronounce the KB as Sir Mike of the Great Katy Prairie and Data Man of the Rock Hard Greens. Gentlemen, for you, we've got Hookers and Blow. Well, maybe not for all of you. Red Boys and Chardonnay, homemade limoncello, and a Lone Star beer and salmorejo. Also, rare ribeyes. We got Harlots and Haldol. We got Rubenesque, Ruben and Rosé. We got ginger ale and gerbil, sparkling cider and escorts, bong hits and bourbon, vodka and vanilla, breast milk and pablum. But of course, everyone always goes straight for the mutton and mead. And if you want to see what these handsome rings look like, go to noagendanation.com/rings. And the 2 gentlemen in question should also use the form there to let us know where to send them and what size you would like for your ring. And thank you all again so much for supporting the No Agenda Show, the best podcast in the universe.
No Agenda meetups.
Now the list. We don't have any meetups coming up in between now and what are we at, Thursday, which is odd. Typically we do, but March is chock-a-block full all the way through April. What we do have, however, is chock-a-block. Chock-a-block. It's a perfect expression. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 meetup reports. So here we go. Denver.
Let's get it on. This is John G. Dew from the Millennial Media Offensive here at the bi-weekly Denver meetup every other Thursday.
And this is Tacos, and we are not talking at 1.5 speed here.
This is Ben Shapiro, and I'm talking at 1.5 speed.
Sir Vito, you could call me Gabagool Vito, because I don't want to be Meatball Ron.
I see him.
You're live.
You're live.
Playing at 0.5. This is Colorado Care Bear.
It's
Jim from Denver in the morning.
I do believe this gulag is lit. This is Colin.
Back to me already. It's been a great meetup. We have them every other Thursday. Come see us.
Yo, Leo Bravo's in Los Angeles.
Hey, everybody, it's Leo Bravo. We're at meetup number 37. I'm passing the phone around for folks to give us their greetings.
Hey, Adam and Job in the morning. This is Bill. And don't worry, Adam, I'm not going to damage your ears with my terrible Dutch.
Hey, guys, this
Thank
is
God.
Thick Rick, and it's cold out here. No joke.
Hello, this is Angie representing the ranch in the morning.
In the morning?
In the morning.
In the morning.
And Eugene, Oregon had their meetup.
What up, slaves? This is B-Dubs. We're hanging out at Papa's Pizza, having some slices, some good conversation, some good connection, because that is protection. And it's an up.
This is Lane at Papa's Pizza in Eugene, and this is a 1.5 machinist meetup.
This is Ella in the morning.
Hi, guys. Fishing Barbie. Shut up already. No.
There are no spooks here. Hi, this is Sir Trevor the Machinist.
In the morning, this is Sammy O.
In the morning!
Pizza.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of out of phase. If you're ever wondering what that sounds like, that's exactly what it sounds like. It's okay. These are all producer-organized, producer-run, the meetup reports, all done by producers. It's amazing any of this stuff works at all. Last one, OKC, the Ooey Hooey meetup.
Hey, Jimmy James here again at the Ooey Hooey meetup, passing this mic around.
Faith Ann in the morning.
This is Dave in the morning. My son was going to come here. He's a douchebag. He didn't come with me. Maybe next time, Caleb.
In the morning, douchebag Rogel here, always traversing the cultural decline.
Hey, this is Cody, and in the morning, and I am not a douchebag.
Hey, another Dave here in the morning.
Dame Cassidy Eastwood of Dimension A. John and Adam, thanks for all you do.
In the morning.
In the morning, and good luck out there.
That's the crew, baby.
And where the Brett Barrel?
And those dudes at Antler, Oklahoma, where y'all at, man?
You can tell that people have a good time at these meetups. Yes, some of it's alcohol fueled, obviously, but it is so important to find your community, particularly in these days where everyone's over socialized. I don't know if I can talk to anybody about anything. I'm so worried about saying anything wrong. It's so horrible. No. I wish you could see the pictures. Everyone looks so different. It looks like none of these people belong together. And of course we do, because you are part of the No Agenda Nation, No Agenda family. Connection is protection. It's true. Go to one of these meetups. You will not regret it. You will keep going back for more, just like those damn potato chips. To find out more, go to noagendameetups.com. If you can't find one near you, start one yourself. It's easy, and it will be a party.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
Yeah, baby. Like a party. They are like a party. I got it. 17th of April. Keeper Curry and the Keeper going to the No Agenda meetup in Nashville, Tennessee. Very excited about doing that one. Oh, crikey. I see I have I have 4.
You have 4?
Yeah, 4.
I have 4.
Well, let me play mine first. I don't know if they're any good.
What does all of this mean?
Kind of like that one.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Goggles.
No, that's Trump goggles. That's no good.
We're not listening to this on 1.5.
I like that one.
Appropriate. It's appropriate. And the final one?
It's ridiculous.
Also not
okay,
bad.
I like the 2 of them.
Okay. All right. So I'll take...
Mine aren't that much better. So let's go with... start with ISO detail.
Every detail matters.
Oh, it's nice and clear. That's for sure.
Every detail matters. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's go with Fauci prosecuted.
I got this one too, but I decided against it.
I should be prosecuted.
It works better with video, that one. You see that?
I just wanted to play
that
it.
shit-eating grin he's got on his face.
ISO great.
Really great to have this conversation.
Okay, not bad.
And then last is money.
Your money's been thinking about you.
I would say it's a toss-up between...
Really great to have this conversation.
And
what does all of this mean?
I think maybe the winner is this one.
We're not listening to this on 1.5.
Yeah, let's just go with that.
I think that's the
thematic.
Yeah, it's thematic. Yes, that's exactly what we're looking for. Thematic. Okay. What can we leave people with? I'd like to say I'm still a little upset about the restrictions that the United States has, as I think the only country left in the world that does not allow non-citizens or non-residents to enter the United States without a vaccine, proof of vaccination. And the fact
unbelievable
that we have lawmakers pleading for the president to make an exception for the tennis player Novak Djokovic pisses me off. That you're calling for an exception for a celebrity.
No, they should just drop the whole thing.
Yes. Yes, and the lawmakers who are requesting this exception, screw you. This thing should be long gone. Long gone.
Check the calendar.
Yeah, and they're not dropping it until May, and I'll bet you they'll try and prolong it again. Horrible
Why
people.
bother? What's the point?
I don't know. It's racist. Don't you think?
Yeah, Biden's a racist.
Biden's a total racist jerk. Have you noticed?
I have some battery clips. Here's
battery.
a Biden clip. He's talking to a bunch of black guys. Biden Divine 9.
I know real power when I see it. The Divine 9. We're honored to have all the presidents here tonight. And I want to thank him. And by the way, I'm not. I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid.
Oh man, yeah, I saw. What a dick. That's just such a dick thing to say. I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. What does that mean? Most white boys are stupid, President?
That's what he said.
That's so disappointing. And of course, no one really calls him out for it.
No, of course not. You can't. They cover for him.
So maybe
just the opposite.
Maybe I don't watch Tucker anymore. I'm done with Tucker. I'm done with him.
I don't mind. I think Tucker's got some good shows.
Nah, well, if you find anything, let me know.
Well, you'll hear it on clips. Here's another interesting. This Biden doing some fake Biden some podcaster did. It's terrible. This sounds nothing like Biden. And then the podcaster sheepishly comes out with some commentary afterwards. This is lousy Biden fake draft notice clip.
Hold on. Oh, it's fake. Yeah.
The illegal Russian offensive has been swift, callous, and brutal.
Yeah, already it's like, no.
It's barbaric. Putin's illegal occupation of Kyiv and the impending Chinese blockade of Taiwan has created a two-front national security crisis that requires more troops than the volunteer military can supply. I have received guidance.
Yeah, it sounds like Biden in 1985, maybe.
This is the problem. The old Biden, it doesn't talk like Biden.
Received guidance from General Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs,
1985 Biden.
That the recommended way forward will be to invoke the Selective Service Act, as is my authority as president. The first to be called in a sequence determined by national lottery will be men and women whose 20th birthday falls during calendar year 2023.
I can't listen to it. It's horrible. I'll play the last 7 seconds just because.
No, don't play anymore. Oh. Just play this lousy Biden fake podcast. Just fake podcast. This is the podcaster apologizing for the lousy job he did.
God bless our troops. And God bless Ukraine. What we just played for you was a sneak preview, coming attractions, a glimpse into the world beyond. Now that was an AI. I don't want to say recreation, but maybe a pre-creation of President Biden, designed and scripted by our producers here for the show.
Okay. Who is this podcaster? Who is this podcaster? I want to know who it is.
I refuse to answer that question.
By the power vested in me as the Podfather, I denounce you!
Good. I thought you'd
really
get us
sucks,
upset.
man. That's so good.
The thing is, this is bullcrap. They're not reinstituting the Selective Service under any circumstances.
The whole thing is dumb. People are stupid. Did you? Okay.
What? All
right, I'm going to play this. So, we're just talking about AI and how it's going to take over the world. All right. So, so now they've taken, the job of disc jockey on top 40 radio stations or Light FM, WLTW. Hi, everybody. They now, it's already, even in the 1990s when I was doing Z100 at WHTZ, the flamethrower in New York. Now, I was a celebrity on the air, so I could do a little more than most jocks. But the program director, Steve Kingston, at the time, hey, man, how you doing? Hey, man. He would literally say to disc jockeys, just read the card. A monkey could do this job. Just do your job. Read the card. Read the weather. Talk the record up. Never back announce. Do your job. A monkey could do it.
Hmm? He actually said never back announce?
Oh, no. Never back announce. Oh, never back announce.
That's annoying.
Yep, never back announce. Only moving forward. Coming up on Z100. Hey, Shaniqua, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite radio station? I don't know. I think it's Z100. That's right. You win tickets. So now this whole GPT AI thing has gone so far that there is now an outfit, Radio GPT, who are seriously selling a fake AI-driven disc jockey, and their promo reel is read by the same fake disc jockey you will soon be hearing on radio stations. Tell me when you just can't handle it anymore.
Futury is revolutionizing the audio industry with the launch of Radio GPT, the world's first AI-driven localized radio content solution. Radio GPT combines the power of GPT-3 technology with Futury's AI-driven story discovery and social content system, Topic Pulse, as well as AI voice tech to provide an unmatched localized radio experience.
She sounds so exciting.
For any market, any format. Using Futury's patented automation link and patented Topic Pulse system, along with AI voice technology, Radio GPT brings a radio station to life.
Is it coming to life for you yet, John?
I can see what's in your music log and talk about the songs or artists on your station. I can see what's happening.
Choppy.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible.
In your local market right now and talk about it in real time. I can post on your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok during my show and talk about what's coming up.
We all know there's only one AI voice.
I am great at teasing and pre-promoting content going into breaks. I can talk about the weather or traffic.
Ooh, weather and traffic.
I can see how many people are listening right now
On
through
the
Futury streaming and say hello to certain locations.
Hello, Cleveland.
I can take open mic audio from listeners using Futury Mobile and incorporate their thoughts, questions, and feedback into my show.
I can't take it myself anymore. This is what they really think the future is going to be. It's like just cut out all humanity. And by the way, this is a video, and the AI robot woman doesn't blink. It's really creepy. And we all know.
So we've caught a number of robocalls that are now robots.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's pretty standard, but there's a couple of ones that are shown up that are decent. They're a little overconfident, though, because they don't have any real... Because if you spot them, because I'm now skeptical, and I'll tell you the one. Guy calling for the police, retirement fund or some local police.
Oh, I despise that call.
Now, this guy calls, he got a big, deep voice.
Yeah.
Big, deep voice. And this guy used to be a real person, but they've robotized him.
You're right.
And so he called... The reason I spotted this, I didn't spot it at first, and I don't know why I didn't spot it at first, but I spotted it because he called again. Oh. And this time I said, hey, wait a minute, you just called a little while ago, and he didn't respond right. He clicked into some other sub routine, and he started talking about something else. And I said, wow, are you a robot? And I guess he doesn't get called out too much for that, because most of the robot callers that are robots, they say, yeah, well, no. I'm a real person. And this deep voice guy calling for the police association is the best, except for the fact that once you know it, look for him, everybody. Once you know him, he's not good at correcting issues. Because in the middle of the second call, I said, "What's your first name?"
Yeah.
There was a long pause.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting.
Now, the other one I'll mention
because that guy called me maybe 2 weeks ago, and I despise, because I remember for one time I almost got roped in, and I was like, yeah, or the police something or something, whatever.
Beautiful deep voice.
Yeah, very deep. Hey, how you doing? And I was like, no, this is years ago that I almost got roped in, and it's just the guy like, do you care about the police? He's asking all these questions. Like, yeah, of course I care about the police. And at the end, I just smelled a rat. I'd like any of our law enforcement officers or anyone.
Like you ever get any money?
I'd like to know, is that legit? Is that something that we should be supporting? I mean, it all feels...
Or calling the police about?
Yeah, it all feels so wrong. I don't like it.
This robot guy, this is the best I've heard so far. The other one that kind of stumped me the first time, but then I heard it again. And it went like this. The phone rings. I say, hello? I don't hear any back room or anything. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? 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 Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you at first. I'm Jane from the blah, blah, blah. And it goes on and on. This little bullshit thing at the beginning. And I thought that was very creative. And after the second time, of course, it's obviously a robot. But be on the lookout for these things. Record your conversation.
And let us know if that's legit or not, cops. Coming up, end of show mixes, Tom Starkweather, Matty J, Rolando Gonzalez. We have Phone Boy in Phoenix live up next on noagendastream.com. Stay in the troll room. Coming to you from the heart of the Texas Hill Country, FEMA Region number 6. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, well, right now it's sunny, and it's where I remain. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Thursday for another episode of Deconstruction, the best podcast in the universe. No agenda. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. Until then, adios, mofos. A hooey, hooey, and such.
This is the most dangerous time in the history of our country because some bad things happened. Now, in terms of money and the kind of trillions and trillions we're talking about, it's not that much. We're now in a Marxism state of mind, a communism state of mind, which is far worse. They have the greatest line of bullshit of any group of people I've ever seen. They want windmills all over the place that ruin our fields, kill our birds, and are very unreliable. There would have been no dead people. Baby bonuses, the war of mongers. They want windmills all over the place that ruin our fields, kill our birds, and are very unreliable. People do like me to go off script a little bit, right? It's a little bit more risky, but it's more exciting. They want windmills all over the place that ruin our fields, kill our birds, and are very unreliable. It seems that every single day is April Fool's Day.
Dick around on TikTok. Nobody needs TikTok.
Getting everybody all riled up.
Well, I've never been that attached to it, but I will look at stuff.
Just seems like they're going to take away your TikTok.
TikTok? No, I look at TikTok.
Get rid of TikTok.
I like TikTok.
Of course you do. It's ruining people. TikTok, grown men, doom scrolling for an hour.
Time I go on TikTok, and I only do it maybe a couple times a week. TikTok.
I'm all for it, by the way.
What is TikTok? Or any product like that?
Either TikTok gives us their data, which is probably no different from Facebook or Instagram, but okay.
So what am I going to do, dick around on TikTok?
People are addicted to TikTok.
I like TikTok.
This is what is occupying people's minds is TikTok.
Officials suspect that China is using the act to spy on Americans.
There you go.
The ban does not impact the more than 100 million Americans and teens who use TikTok on non-government devices.
We want to track our people. We can't have someone else doing that.
I don't usually use my phone to. No matter what anyone says about TikTok or what even your current assertions.
I need my TikTok.
I like TikTok.
Teaming up with Russia, fentanyl. It's all about China. This is the pivot.
I'd track down everyone who had TikTok on the phones and fire up.
It's all about China.
Nobody needs TikTok. I like TikTok.
We've got new findings to report on the mysterious ailment called Havana syndrome.
Havana syndrome.
Havana syndrome.
Havana syndrome. Possibly some kind of energy weapon, maybe a microwave device.
Pulsed microwave energy, a certain form of pressure wave within the head.
Still so many questions and not a lot of answers.
Symptoms range from dizziness, headaches, and memory loss to cognitive impairment so severe that some victims say they can no longer work.
There's no credible evidence.
The mysterious neurological symptoms.
Pre-existing medical conditions. Still so many questions and not a lot of answers.
The U.S. government has a lot more information.
Havana syndrome.
Havana syndrome.
Havana syndrome.
200 State Department personnel and CIA officers afflicted around the world.
7 different U.S. intelligence agencies. It remains as much of a mystery as it ever was.
Attention is focused on Russia.
Pre-existing conditions, conventional illnesses, and environmental factors.
That's still classified.
The Havana syndrome.
Collectively,
the mysterious illness.
We were not confident. A form of microwave radiation.
A new law requires the government to compensate victims for qualifying brain injuries.
We didn't have any direct evidence.
There is no credible evidence that a foreign adversary has a weapon.
What and who is causing these incidents?
Havana syndrome. Multi-year investigation.
And many of these victims are disabled.
More than 1,500 reported cases.
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
You're not listening to this on 1.5.
There you go. No agenda strikes again.
I don't think we're friends.
You're no good. You're just as bad as those people. It's a terrible